Chapter 251. On the Spirit Boat. The Hall Master of Jinhai Palace looked at him indifferently, his eyes full of contempt. As the master of Qingqiu who opened up a demon kingdom, when has he received such contempt, not to mention that this contempt comes from a small human race? Die! King Qingqiu held the sky with one hand, and his palm instantly turned into a huge demon claw. Demon body image. Henry Zhang murmured. The demonic claws manifested by the Qingqiu king were incomparably huge, and only one demonic claw was comparable to half the size of the spirit boat. Next moment, the demon claws, like the pillar of Optimus, ripped apart the space and slashed straight down towards the spirit boat where the Hall Master of Jinhai Temple was. Under this blow from the sky, the Hall Master of Jinhai Palace on the deck of the spirit boat was as small as an ant. But it was this ant that disappeared directly on the spirit boat before the demon claws slashed down. Almost at the same time, the Hall Master of Jinhai Temple, who disappeared on the spirit boat, used his tiny body to block in front of the spirit boat and stretched out his index finger. Chen Daoxian could not describe the scene in front of him, because the next scene is like an illusion. King Qingqi's demonic claws were actually blocked by a finger of the Hall Master of Jinhai Palace, and the two collided without making any movement, not to mention tearing apart the space, not even a shock wave. This. Chen Daoxian was shocked. Henry Zhang, Zhou Mubai and others were even more stunned by the scene in front of them. After a long while, Henry Zhang sighed. It's not bad that he is known as the most evil disciple in the history of Qianyuan Jianzong. See this scene. King Qingqi's face instantly became extremely ugly. The Lord of the Lion and Camel Kingdom and the Lord of the Jia Kingdom, who were watching the excitement below, all looked solemn. Now that you're done, it's my turn. After speaking, the figure of the Hall Master of Jinhai Temple disappeared in place, and the next moment, his figure appeared strangely in front of the King of Qingqiu. Teleport. A look of panic flashed in the eyes of the Qingqiu Kingdom. Just as he was about to react, he was pinched by the heavenly spirit cover with the palm of the Jinhai Palace's palm. Boom! Chen Daoxian only felt a blur in front of his eyes. Immediately afterwards, a figure cut through the air and hit the ground, smashing the ground into a bottomless pit, and the violent air waves blew the spirit boat in the sky wildly. High in the sky, the Hall Master of Jinhai Palace folded his left hand in his sleeve, and his right hand was holding a huge demon fox Tianling's hood. With just one blow, the Hall Master of Jinhai Temple lifted the opponent's heavenly spirit cover down. Roar! Next second. In the deep pit of the earth, a snow-white nine-tailed demon fox stood up from the deep pit. Compared with the figures of the 9 demon foxes, the spirit boat that Chen Daoxian and others were riding on was like a toy, not to mention the human monks on the spirit boat. I want you to die. The snow-white nine-tailed demon fox spoke out, and the wound on its head almost recovered in an instant. Brother Qingqiu. Just as the king of Qingqiu was about to go all out, a thick voice sounded. Immediately afterwards, a majestic figure flew between the Hall Master of Jinhai Palace and the 9 demon foxes. The real immortal level source realm is about to open. Even if the two of you want to fight, it will not be too late to fight until we have finished exploring the source realm. Extremely. Below, the king of the Polar Night Country in black robes also voiced his support. Hear this. The face of the king of Qingqiu was full of resentment, and the huge demon pupil stared at the majestic figure in front of him, and roared, "The king of Lion and Camel, why didn't you say this just now? Did you know that he just killed a big monster in my Qingqiu country?" Facing the accusations of the Qingqiu country, the Lion Camel country lord said with a blank face, "It's just a big demon. I hope the Qingqiu country lord will put the overall situation first." Okay, very good. The king of Qingqiu immediately took back his demon body and returned to his human form. But his gaze towards the Lion and Camel Kingdom and Ji Kingdom was full of resentment. It is no secret at all that the major demon nations are at odds. Speaking of which, the contradictions between the 4 big demon kingdoms are more than the contradictions between the Qingqiu demon kingdom and Weiyang Xianqing. Seeing the turmoil subside, the Hall Master of Jinhai Palace said, "The real fairy source world was born, and I, the Wan Xinghai cultivator, also want to share a piece of the pie. What do you think? Hear this. The Lord of the Lion Camel Country frowned. The real fairy source world is left by my demon senior. What does it have to do with your human race? Hearing this, the Hall Master of Xinhai Palace said firmly, the strong treasure can get it, this is the law of heaven. Seeing that the Lord of Xinhai Palace and the Lord of Lion Camel were fighting, the Lord of Qingqiu Kingdom quickly calmed down the anger in his heart and put on a posture of watching a play. When the Lord of Jia Kingdom saw that the Lord of Qingqiu Kingdom was no longer at war with the Lord of Xinhai Palace, he immediately chose to remain silent. For the Lord of the Polar Night Kingdom, the weakest among the 4 great demon kingdom lords. In this trip, as long as you can successfully obtain the Tao Law and the true immortal origin realm and make your own strength further. As for arguing with the human race monks, he has no interest. Weiyang Xiancheng has been standing in this world for 100 years. As to whether there is a backer behind the human race that suddenly appeared 100 years ago, the king of Jia Kingdom has no idea, and naturally he is reluctant to stroke the other side's tiger whiskers. Weiyang Xiancheng can forcefully bite off a large piece of the territory of the Qingqiu demon country, and let the Qingqiu country lord have no way to take it. It can be seen that this human race is not ordinary. The lord of the Jia Kingdom is naturally willing to beat the underdogs, but he is the cannon fodder in front of the charge. Whoever wants to be the lord of the Jia Kingdom is not right. The Lord of the Lion and Camel Kingdom could not help but be silent when he saw that the Lord of Xinhai Palace was so tough. After a long while, the Lord of the Lion and Camel Kingdom said, "Okay, I admit that your human cultivator has this strength, but how do you human cultivator want to share this cake?" Seeing the Lion and Camel Country's Lord let go, a smile appeared on the corner of the mouth of the Lord of Xinhai Palace, and then he frowned and said, "If our Yuaning cultivator and the demon lord enter the real immortal source world to fight, that won't work." The Lord of the Lion Camel Country shook his head. According to our investigation, the true immortal level source world has existed for many years, and if a demon level battle breaks out inside, I am afraid it will collapse in an instant. At that time, none of us will get the laws of the Great Tao. The Hall Master of Xinhai Palace was a little annoyed and stared. "This is not good, that is not good, what do you say?" Hear this. The king of the Lion Camel Country glanced at the Hall Master of Xinhai Palace with contempt, and secretly said in his heart that they all said that the monks of the human race were cunning. At this time, the Lord of Jia Kingdom flew up and said in a hoarse voice, "Since the demon lord can't compete for it himself, how about sending his subordinates to compete?" "I have no opinion." The Lord of the Lion and Camel Kingdom nodded, then looked at the Lord of Xinhai Palace. The Hall Master of Xinhai Palace frowned, thought about it and nodded, "I have no opinion." Finally, the 3 of them turned their attention to the king of Qingqiu. "Humph. I agree too." The Lord of the Lion Camel Country didn't care about the attitude of the Lord of the Qingqiu country. He nodded and said, "Since everyone agrees, then determine the number and cultivation of his subordinates, right?" "Sure shit." The Hall Master of Xinhai Palace waved his hand carelessly, "All the people I brought here, this is your territory, it's not easy to adjust your subordinates." Hearing this, the projection of the origin of the Lion and Camel Country shrouded the spirit boat fleet of the human monks in an instant, and he immediately checked the number of human monks on the spirit boat. 1,000 Zifu monks and 10,000 foundation building monks. The Lord of the Lion and Camel Kingdom nodded, "Yes, all of us will follow this number." "Agree." "Okay." The other 2 kings all nodded. After a few words, everyone negotiated the quota of each party to enter the real fairy world. From the 3 major demon kingdoms and the Wangxinghai human race monks, a total of 4,000 Zifu-level powerhouses and 40,000 base-building powerhouses entered the true immortal origin realm. After negotiating the allocation of places, everyone's tense atmosphere also subsided slightly. The human race cultivator and the world demon have been fighting for so long, and the 2 sides don't know much about each other, especially between high-level people. It's just that this is the hinterland of the true demon realm, which is very far from Liangjian. This made several demon nations know very little about the Wan Xinghai monks, especially the Chen Yuan sword sect. But this time, the kings of the 3 major demon kingdoms know the name of the master of Xinhai Palace. With one palm, the heavenly spirit cover of the king of Qingqiu was lifted off, which is obviously not something that an ordinary nascent soul cultivator can do. You must know that those who can open up a demon kingdom in the real demon world are at least the powerhouses at the peak level of demon masters. If you change to a human monk, that is the powerful monk on the 9th floor of nascent soul. The existence of this level was unexpectedly smashed by the head of Jinhai Palace. Although this hand did little harm to the Qingqiu king, it was extremely insulting. This is also the reason why the king of Qingqiu just put on a desperate gesture. It was less than a stick of incense after everyone discussed it properly. A burst of space turbulence rippled. Next moment, a strangely shaped spirit boat flew out of the space channel. This spirit boat is even larger than the spirit boats driven by the Wanxinghai monk together, but Chen Daoxian, as a refiner, knows that apart from being huge, this spirit boat is not powerful in itself. If it is an algorithm level, this spirit boat is probably only level 3. A third-order spirit boat is obviously impossible to break through the space. In other words, it was not the huge spirit boat that broke the space, but the demon master on the spirit boat. The Lion Camel King, the Qingqiu King, the Extreme Night King, you are exploring the real immortal source world, but you have excluded my Dayuan country, and brought the human race monks instead. This is not kind enough, do you think so? Jinhai Palace Lord? The original indifferent face of the Jinhai Palace Hall Master immediately changed his expression when he heard the new demon master call out his name in public. For a long time, Chenyuan Jianzong knew very little about the major demon kingdoms across the passage. Unexpectedly, this great Yuan demon nation knew a lot about Chenyuan sword sect. The only possibility is that this great Yuan demon country has a deep connection with the demon country forces near Liangjiyuan. Chenyuan Jianzong was also famous in Liangjiyuan thousands of years ago. In order to help Liangjiyuan, he almost broke the inheritance of Chenyuan Jianzong. But by virtue of this battle, Chenyuan Jianzong was also considered to be famous in Liangjiyuan. So far, there are still legends about Jianqiu of Chenyuan Jianzong in the sects and demon kingdoms near Liangjiyuan. Not surprising. After all, there are also people in the human race who will reveal information about the high-level monks of the human race to the world monster. My demon lord. The lord of the Lion Camel Kingdom looked at the talking demon lord of the Dayuan Kingdom with a solemn expression. The demon lord Manwu is the younger brother of the lord of Dayuan. His body is an ancient demon snake, but his bloodline is unknown. In fact, according to the strength of this demon lord Manwu, he can completely open up a demon kingdom, but he is still willing to serve under his elder brother, which is very strange. It stands to reason that snake demons are the most ruthless. But I don't know why this demon lord barbarian has remained unchanged for thousands of years, following behind his eldest brother. On the spirit boat. The moment Chen Daoxian saw this savage demon master, he directly used the breath conditioning technique to reduce his breath to almost nothing, and even his breath became inaudible. Zhang Xianling, who was on the side, looked at him again and again. It's not that Chen Daoxian is timid, it's that this monstrous demon master has faced each other with his avatar. At the beginning, his clone kept slaughtering the world demons in the demon kingdom of Dayuan, and finally he was arrested by the demon lord of the great Yuan kingdom. Among them, there was this demon lord Manwu. Moreover, this demon lord Manwu seems to be very proficient in the laws of the Space Avenue. At the beginning, his clone was almost caught by the opponent. Fortunately, his avatar was smart enough to run the Shui banner ahead of time. But he still felt the terrifying aura of the demon master at a glance. This is also the reason why Chen Daoxian did not dare to send another clone to Dayuan to do things. As the saying goes, if you often walk by the river, you will never get wet shoes. The last time he was able to escape under the arrest of this demon lord Manwu was a fluke. Continue to wave, it is definitely a dead end. The great Yuan demon nation wants a piece of the pie, of course. The lord of the Lion and Camel Kingdom nodded, but we have to follow the rules we negotiated. The rules you agreed upon? Demon Lord Manwu's sinister eyes flickered. I don't know what the rules are. At the moment, the king of the Lion Camel said the rules that were negotiated by the quartet. The Lord of Manwu State thought for a while, then nodded and said, "Yes, but I, the Lord of Manwu State, sent the Demon King Qinghe to participate." Qinghe Demon King? Impossible. The Lord of the Lion Camel Country shook his head and said, "At most, you can only send big demons to participate. Qinghe is already the Demon King, which is not in line with the rules." Hearing this, Manwu sneered. Although Qinghe is a Demon King, his cultivation is the same as that of a big demon, so why can't he participate? Besides, your Lion Camel Country doesn't plan to send your blood prison Demon King. Are you going to participate? Hear this. The faces of the Qingqiu King and Ji King suddenly became ugly. The Demon King of Blood Prison is the blood descendant of the Lion and Camel Country King mentioned on the jade slip that Zhang Xianling gave to Qin Daoxian. The cultivation base itself is only equivalent to the purple mansion of the human race, but it has the name of the Demon King. In the real demon world, the names of the world demon, the Demon King, and the Demon Master do not depend on their cultivation, but on their strength. This is very different from the human race monks. Although the Qinghe Demon King and the Blood Prison Demon King are only equivalent to the human race's Zifu, their strength is definitely the first-level Demon King, that is, the human race Jindan cultivator. On the side of the Wan Xinghai cultivator, Zhou Mubai was probably the only one who could match the opponent a little. After Zhou Mubai created his own sword art and realized his own swordsmanship, his strength has basically crossed the threshold of Jindan cultivator. But compared with the Qinghe Demon King and the Blood Prison Demon King, I am afraid it is not as good. As we all know, in the same rank, the power of the demons is often stronger than that of the human monks. Since these two are genuine Demon Kings, it proves that the strength of these two Demon Kings has definitely reached the average line of the world Demon Kings. Such a comparison. The strength of these two Demon Kings is probably comparable to that of the middle-stage Jindan or even the late Jindan monks of the human race. At best, Zhou Mubai's strength could only be compared to that of a cultivator in the early stage of Jindan. In this way, the high-end power of the Wan Xinghai cultivator is far inferior to that of the Lion and Camel Demon Nation and the Great Yuan Demon Nation. Apart from the unsightly face of the Wan Xinghai cultivator, the faces of the demons from the Qingqiu Demon Nation and the Jiyue Demon Nation also looked ugly, because these three parties were all weak. Please remember this book's first domain name. _WAP. Chapter 252. Just when the atmosphere was stagnant. The master of Zhenhai Hall waved his hand carelessly. "It's a big deal, that's it." This idiot. Lord Qingqiu and Lord Jie cursed in their hearts at the same time. Seeing that the Lord of Zhenhai Temple took the initiative to back down, a smile flashed on the face of the Lord of the Lion and Camel Kingdom, and a hint of hesitation appeared on the face of the Demon Lord Manwu. The performance of the Hall Master of Zhenhai Palace was different from what was recorded in the information. However, he has never seen the real Zhenhai Palace Hall Master, and it is normal for him to deviate from the report. After all, those human spies like to exaggerate. Thinking of this, Demon Lord Manwu turned his head and said, "Lord Lion and Camel, what do you think?" Hearing this, the Lion Camel Country had an expression of embarrassment, and finally nodded. "Since the human race agrees, my Lion Camel Country will naturally not object." Seeing that the Lion Camel Country Lord got a bargain and sold it well, the Barbarian Demon Lord snorted coldly, and then looked at the Qingqiu Country Lord and the Jie Country Lord, and said lightly, "How about the two of you?" Among the 5 parties, all 3 parties agreed, and they were the most powerful 3 parties. Even though King Qingqiu and King Jie were extremely reluctant, they had to nod their heads in agreement. In the real demon world, everything speaks with strength. This is even more naked than the performance of the human race's cultivation world. After all, the human race's cultivation forces sometimes pay attention to verbal morality. Among the demon kingdoms in the real demon world, there is absolutely no morality at all. There are countless examples of weak demon kingdoms being wiped out by powerful demon kingdoms without any fault. If that's the case, then it's settled. The Demon Lord Manwu said with a firm voice, "When the true immortal origin realm opens, each of us will send 1,000 Zifu level and 10,000 foundation building powerhouses respectively." Okay. Agree. Everyone nodded one after another, but this time, the faces of the Qingqiu king and Ji king were extremely ugly. After agreeing on the quota, the hall master of Jinhai Palace returned to the spirit boat alone. The rest of the major demon country lords and demon lords also returned to their own forces. The hall master of Jinhai Palace just returned to the spirit boat. The carefree expression on his face subsided. The hall master of Jinhai Palace looked at the people who were waiting for him, and finally set his eyes on a female cultivator on the 9th floor of the Purple Mansion, and said with a relaxed smile, "Qiao, my path depends entirely on you." Fairy Qiao, dressed in purple, nodded and said, "Don't worry, Shishu. Zifu Tianjiao ranked first, Fairy Qiao." The hall master of Jinhai Hall estimated that the battle strength of the Tianjiao Zifu they sent might not even be as large as the Tianjiao Zifu sent by the extreme night demon nation. Qianyuan Jianzong once experienced a war with the real demon world. The hall master of Jinhai Palace knows how powerful the monsters of the same rank are. Generally speaking, the ordinary Zifu monks are not the opponents of the Zifu big demon at all, let alone the Zifu big demon sent by the major demon countries. They must be the best among the Zifu big demons in each demon country. These Zifu big monsters are placed among the human race, and they are probably close to the level of Tianjiao Zifu, and their strength far exceeds that of ordinary late-stage cultivators of Zifu. So count. The strength of the demon nation teams is exaggerated. Of course, the cultivator Wan Xinghai is not weak here. The cultivators of the Zifu they selected are all elites among the cultivators of the Zifu from the 3 states and Qianyuan Jianzong. Especially the group of Zifu monks selected from Qianyuan Jianzong, even if they can't compare to the Tianjiao Zifu on the Zifu Tianjiao list, they are far stronger than the ordinary late Zifu monks. No one has ever doubted the background of Qianyuan sword sect. As for the combat power of the foundation building level, everyone ignored it. Of course, it was not completely ignored. The plan of the hall master of Jinhai Palace is to hope that these 10,000 monks in the late stage of foundation establishment who are approaching the Purple Mansion stage can quickly break through their cultivation and reach the Purple Mansion stage with the help of the vitality essence or blood marrow in the true immortal origin realm. Although it is difficult to compare the newly promoted Zifu period monks and the dispatched elite Zifu monks, the number of foundation building monks is huge. Using the crowd tactics, even the ordinary Tianjiao Zifu on the Zifu Tianjiao list would not be able to withstand the siege of dozens of newly promoted Zifu cultivators, let alone the 10,000-strong group of foundation building cultivators. Even if only half of the cultivators of Wan Xinghai broke through to the Purple Mansion stage with the help of the vitality essence of the true immortal origin realm, it would also be a huge help to the elite Purple Mansion cultivators in Wan Xinghai. It can be said that at this point, the human race monks are relatively cheap. Because the foundation building world monsters want to break through their cultivation, they have to rely on each other to kill and devour each other, and they cannot directly advance with the help of vitality essence and blood marrow. It can be seen from this. What Chen Daoxian said before, what does it mean that Chen Fusheng will be extremely dangerous when he enters the real immortal realm? After entering the true immortal origin realm, in order to improve their cultivation and gain an advantage, these base-building world monsters will inevitably hunt cultivators and other base-building world monsters frantically. At that time, the foundation establishment cultivator with poor strength and luck will inevitably suffer large-scale casualties. Zhangzhou Camp. On the spirit boat. Chen Daoxian looked at the nervous Chen Fusheng and said, "After the real fairy world opens, we may be teleported to a different location, you take this first." With that said, Chen Daoxian handed over a storage bag. Chen Fusheng took the storage bag, and after checking it, his expression suddenly changed. "Young patriarch, this is absolutely impossible." Chen Daoxian's eyes widened, and he reprimanded, "If you want to take it, just take it, so much nonsense." Then, his tone softened a bit, "You don't have to worry about my safety. In the real fairy source world, as long as I don't encounter a powerhouse at the level of the Zifu Demon King, I will not be in any danger. Even if I encounter the Demon King of the Zifu, I am sure of escaping for my life." Chen Fusheng pursed his lips and said nothing. The 5 forces have been waiting for months. The realm where they are located has finally changed. I saw high in the sky, one after another space ripples, like water ripples, rippling. See this change. The demon lord Manwu soared into the sky, flew to the place where the space ripples were rippling, and said with joy, "The space barriers of the true immortal origin realm have gradually merged with this realm. Everyone, let's start together." Okay. Let's do it together. Demon lords and true monarch nascent soul from all forces spoke out together. Although the demon kingdoms and Weiyang Xianqing are usually hostile to each other, they all chose to join forces in front of the huge interests of the true immortal origin realm. Compared with fighting each other, their path is obviously more important. And in the real fairy source world, there is the Tao law related to their path. This kind of interest is enough to make all parties temporarily put aside their prejudices and explore the real immortal level source world together. Boom! Dozens of figures stand in the sky. Their bodies exuded a terrifying aura. In the spirit boat fleet, the Zifu and base building cultivators from various states all felt shivering. At this moment, they knew why the true monarch Yuanying was known as the existence that could suppress one side. Chen Daoxian looked at the demon lord and true monarch nascent soul who were tearing apart the space together, his heart beating violently. So strong. His eyes burned hot. Finally. Under the subordinates of dozens of demon masters and Yuanying Zhenjuan, the space barrier of the true immortal origin realm was directly torn apart by a huge space crack. If you don't enter at this time, what are you waiting for? The lion and camel kingdom's face was ashen as he roared. Hearing this roar that resounded through the sky, the monks and world demons from all parties reacted one after another. Immediately turned into an escape light, and flew into the space crack that was about tens of miles long and several miles wide. Fusheng, let's go too. Chen Fusheng nodded nervously. Following behind Chen Daoxian, they flew towards the huge space crack in the sky. Along with them, there are tens of thousands of cultivators from all ethnic groups, as well as the densely packed demons of the demon kingdom. This moment. The monks and the demons were like flies, swallowed by the gap in the sky, and soon disappeared. After entering the space crack, Chen Daoxian only felt the darkness in front of him, and with a whirlwind, he felt that he was thrown out. Brush! As soon as he regained his sight, Chen Daoxian displayed 3 heads and 6 arms, holding a fairy sword in each of his 6 arms. His eyes were like electricity, and he looked like he was facing a great enemy. Divine consciousness scanned the radius of more than 120 miles, but did not find the slightest danger. Chen Daoxian's tense nerves relaxed slightly. But he didn't dare to relax completely, he always maintained a state of 3 heads and 6 arms. Apart from not displaying the Dharma image that is more than 10 feet tall, Chen Daoxian can be said to have gone all out. No way, in this unfamiliar environment, there are still a large number of enemies. Chen Daoxian had to be careful. Found that there is no danger for the time being. Chen Daoxian then looked at the surrounding environment. Compared with the real demon world and the human race immortal world, this real fairy source world is many times desolate. Being here is like being in the desert. Not only that. The space here is also very unstable. In Wanxinghai, even if Chen Daoxian comprehends the space sword intent, he can only do his best to cause a little space fluctuation. And here. Chen Daoxian gently waved the fairy sword in his hand, and a space crack was torn open immediately. After thinking about it, Chen Daoxian chose a direction and left quickly. Having hunted and killed the world demon for so long in the Dayuan demon country, Chen Daoxian has a far better understanding of the cultivation method of the world demon than ordinary monks. Perhaps even the ruthless cultivators of Chenyuan Xianzong did not understand the world demon as well as he did. According to the world monsters he hunted, Chen Daoxian knew that the method of cultivation of the world monsters was also named the method of the 3 realms. The so-called law of the 3 realms is to divide the 3 realms of heaven, earth and human within the source realm. Of course, the weakest world demon will definitely not be divided in such detail. Generally speaking, after the world demon reaches the level of Zifu, it begins to fill the Tao development in the source realm within the body, dividing the 3 realms. This is the real immortal source realm, and the 3 realms must have been divided. He just didn't know which realm of the 3 realms he was currently in. After pondering for a moment, Chen Daoxian felt that it would be better to find a few monsters and ask. After all, this origin realm was left by the true immortal level world demon, and the major demon nations must know much more about the origin realm than their human cultivators. Think of this. Chen Daoxian simply swayed here. The world demon monks sent by the five forces sounded huge in number, but when they were scattered into the real immortal level source world, it was quite a feeling that a drop of water was sprinkled into a lake. Chen Daoxian flew for a long time and found no trace of the human race monks and world demons. Chen Daoxian's consciousness swept away, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. Essence of vitality. The essence of vitality is a treasure that looks like a transparent mist. It only exists in the source realm of high-level demons, and as the source realm collapses, it will return to chaos. Except for the source world of the world demon, it is generally extremely difficult to preserve this kind of treasure. Qianyuan Jianzong provides a vessel to temporarily collect the essence of vitality, which is a special instrument called a jade crystal bottle. But ordinary jade crystal bottles can only store the essence of vitality for less than a month at most, and it will completely dissipate. This is also the reason why Chen Daoxian has never seen the essence of vitality in Wan Xinghai. This kind of treasure is inherently available and unobtainable. Even if someone obtains it, most of it is used on the spot, and very few people take it out for trading. After all, the essence of vitality is a treasure that can directly improve one's cultivation. Just when Chen Daoxian was about to put the essence of vitality into the jade crystal bottle, a ray of light flew towards him. Fellow Daoist, be slow. In the distance, a human race foundation building cultivator shouted through voice transmission. Please remember this book's first domain name. _WAP. Chapter 253. Over a barren desert. When Chen Daoxian heard this divine sense transmission, he took out the jade crystal bottle without changing his face, and put the essence of vitality into the bottle. Only then did he turn his head to look at the late foundation establishment cultivator. This late-stage foundation building cultivator was wearing a blue Taoist robe, with a white face and no beard. Perhaps as a son of a big family, he showed an air of arrogance all over his body. At this moment, the face of this white-faced cultivator was quite ugly. Seeing Chen Daoxian glance at him, he turned around and wanted to leave. The white-faced cultivator hurriedly stopped in front of him and cupped his hands. This fellow Daoist waits a minute, I am a cultivator of the Jiang family in Taizhou. I don't know which hall master elder of the Qianyuan sword sect is under the command of your friend. Stopped by the white-faced cultivator, Chen Daoxian immediately stopped and said coldly, no need to test, I am not a cultivator of Qianyuan Jianzong. Hearing this, the white-faced cultivator breathed a sigh of relief. He cupped his hands and said, do you know the reason why Hallmaster Qin sent me and other base-building cultivators to enter the true immortal origin realm? Seeing that Chen Daoxian didn't speak, the white-faced cultivator said to himself, Palace Master Qin sent me and other foundation-building cultivators to come in, just so that we can use the essence of vitality to break through to become a cultivator of Zifu in the source world, so that we can help other Zifu seniors to capture the Dao Law. So, fellow Daoists know what to do, right? The words of the white-faced cultivator surprised Song Chen Daoxian quite a bit. He thought that the other party would directly rely on his cultivation to the essence of vitality, but who would have thought that the other party would also use reason to convince people? Chen Daoxian looked at the other party with interest and smiled. I don't understand, Jiang Daoyu thinks what should I do? Seeing Chen Daoxian's appearance, the white-faced cultivator put on a righteous and awe-inspiring look, and said sincerely, in order to finally capture the Dao Law for the seniors of the true monarchs in Wan Xinghai, fellow Daoists should give me the essence of vitality. My cultivation base is higher than that of fellow Daoists. With these essences of vitality, I can break through to the Purple Palace as soon as possible, and contribute to my Wan Xinghai cultivators' struggle for the Dao Law. Hear this remark. Chen Daoxian couldn't help laughing. Have you heard this sentence? The white-faced monk frowned. What? Chen Daoxian said sternly, I have never seen such a brazen person. Ah! The white-faced cultivator was stunned for a moment, and then he said angrily, you are looking for Who knows? Before the word death was uttered, a sword light drowned his sight, and then, the white-faced cultivator felt the darkness in front of him, and he was completely unconscious. Chen Daoxian held the flying snow sword in his right hand, looked at the corpse that was split in half by his sword in midair, shook his head and said, "You are the first Foundation establishment cultivator who dares to stand in front of me 3 feet away and rob me." A flame popped out, burning the corpse in midair to ashes. Chen Daoxian took the storage bag left by the white-faced monk and a small tower-shaped magic tool into his hands. Afterwards, he swept his entire body with his divine sense to make sure that the white-faced cultivator had no backhand left by any high-ranking cultivator, and Chen Daoxian flew away immediately. In the real fairy source world, the group of 7 cultivators from the Jiang family's purple residence immediately stopped to escape. "Brother, what's wrong?" Seeing the leader of the Zifu cultivator with an ugly expression, he stopped and disappeared, and a Zifu cultivator behind him couldn't help asking. The leader of the Zifu cultivator turned his head, and immediately took out a soul card that had been shattered into 2 halves from the storage bag, and said, "The soul card of the Chen Su family is broken." What? When the other monks heard this, their faces became extremely ugly. You must know that although Jiang Chengxi's cultivation level is not high, he is only in the late stage of foundation building, but his background is very amazing. The descendants of the Great Elder are nothing. After all, as a Yuaning cultivator, the first elder of the Jiang family has 1,000 years of life, and the descendants he left behind are unknown. A descendant of the foundation building period who has been separated by many generations has no privileges at all in the Jiang family. But Jiang Chengxi's eldest brother is different. Jiang Chengxi's eldest brother, named Jiang Chenai, is one of the Daozi of the Jiang family. The Daozi of the Xiao Xian clan probably has the same status as the direct disciple of Qianyuan Jianzong. Generally, only the nascent soul family will establish the identity of Daozi. Ordinary Zifu and Jindan families rarely establish Daozi. After all, the strength and influence of the family is not enough. Even if the position of Daozi is established, there is no credibility to speak out, and it will only make people laugh. And Jiang Jiadaozi, even if he leaves Taizhou, others will take a high look when he speaks out. If it is not a fundamental conflict of interest, others will usually choose to back down. Offending a Jiang family Daozi and offending an ordinary Jiang family cultivator are completely different things. After all, as the dominant family in Taizhou, the Jiang family is not only powerful, but also has many cultivators. Even if ordinary Jiang family disciples die, if there is no direct evidence, the Jiang family will not choose to go to great lengths to find evidence and retaliate. After all, Wan Xinghai is so vast. Even if an ordinary Jiang family cultivator is damaged, it is impossible to invite several ancestors to come out to find the murderer. If Yuan Jingjuan didn't take action, it would not be easy to find the murderer. And after the murderer is found, subsequent arrests are even more difficult. Because the people who dare to commit murder and cheating are basically ruthless loose cultivators. Arresting this kind of loose cultivator, the Jiang family does not know how much manpower and material resources it will spend. It is extremely unwise to speak only for an ordinary clansman. Generally speaking, even if the Jiang family confirmed the identity of the murderer, they would at most only post a wanted notice in the major immortal cities. But if the wanted order was useful to those ruthless loose cultivators, they wouldn't dare to commit murder. So don't think that the identity of the monk of the big clan is the gold medal of avoiding death. When encountering a real ruthless person, it is useless for you to be a disciple of Qianyuan sword sect. Of course, this situation is only for ordinary monks of big families. If an accident happened to the elite children of the family, the situation would be very different. For example, if Jiang Chen, the Daozi of the Jiang family, died in the night, I am afraid that the ancestors of the Jiang family would go out to the mountains to find the murderer. Because this level of family cultivator is already a matter of family inheritance. If Chen Fusheng of the Chen family is killed, Chen Daoxian will never give up finding the murderer. The other side. After Chen Daoxian has been identifying the direction, he has been flying towards the south. After so long groping, Chen Daoxian found that the farther he flew to the south, the the less deserted the land was. At the end of his line of sight, Chen Daoxian actually found a small oasis in the inner desert. There is actually a small oasis here? Chen Daoxian was shocked and said, a source world left by a true fairy who has been dead for many years, there is still life. As far as Chen Daoxian knew, the source world of the world demon is generally lifeless. Maybe Chen Daoxian killed all the demons in the Great Yuan Demon Kingdom, and the other party's origin realm was relatively primitive, and no life was born. The real fairy world is obviously different. After so many years, there is still an oasis left here. In this way, before the true immortal level world monster fell, this source world is very likely to be a small world with a complete life cycle. The desert under his feet is likely to be a green continent. Although the method of the origin of the world monster relies on devouring life, at the same time, its origin has also nurtured countless lives. This method of cultivation does not seem to be harmful to the Tao. Chen Daoxian said silently. He and the other human race monks are hostile to the world monsters. The reason is naturally that the world monsters feed on the human race and other creatures. But for the beings in the realm is their creator. Once the monster dies, the source world and its body will slowly collapse, and a newly born world will come to an end. Thinking of this, Chen Daoxian suddenly had a strange feeling in his heart. There is no right or wrong to survive. His so-called right and wrong is just standing in the position of the human race. But, since he is a human race, he should stand in the position of the human race. After thinking about this, Chen Daoxian had no more distractions. The speed of the escape light was 3 points faster, and it flew towards the oasis at the end of the field of vision. The oasis ahead is not large, about several hundred square kilometers. In a previous life, it would be the size of an urban area. For the real monsters in the real demon world and the human monks in the immortal world, this area can only be circled in dozens of breaths, and it can only be regarded as a small oasis. Land escape light on the oasis. Chen Daoxian found that someone had already landed here. No, to be precise, it should be the two forces that came first. One is the base-building world demon of the Lion and Camel Demon Kingdom, and the other is the cultivator of the Ji family in Jingzhou. Coincidentally, one of them, Chen Daoxian, happened to know the foundation-building cultivator named Ji Yanzhao whom Chen Daoxian met when he went to Yuanshan Xiancheng. I saw the light flying from the sky. The world demons of the Lion Camel country frowned one after another, and they had an advantage when they originally faced off against the cultivators of the Ji family. Although they only gathered 3 blue lions, and the Jing family had 13 foundation-building cultivators, in their opinion, the Jing family's foundation-building cultivators were too strong. They are not opponents of the same level at all. The Ji family cultivators all looked happy when they saw Chen Daoxian. Especially Ji Yanzhao, he shouted towards Chen Daoxian for help, "Brother Chen, come and help us." Hearing this call, the 3 green lion spirits turned their attention to Chen Daoxian. The 3 blue lion spirits seemed to have a lot of power left, and they pressed the Ji family's 13 foundation-building cultivators to fight without even displaying their demon bodies. Just stepped into the oasis range. Chen Daoxian finally understood why the two sides were arguing. The essence of vitality. Chen Daoxian saw that behind the 3 blue lion spirits, a mass of vitality essence was floating. Visually, the weight of this group of vitality essence is at least several times higher than the one Chen Daoxian just collected. With so much vitality essence, it might even make a 9th-layer foundation establishment cultivator try to break through to the Purple Palace period. No wonder the Ji family's foundation-building cultivators are so jealous. As for the Ji family being able to gather 13 foundation-building cultivators together in such a short period of time, Chen Daoxian was not surprised. You must know that although the human monks of the same rank are generally not as powerful as the world monsters, but the human race cultivator has much more means than the world demon. It's like tracking secrets. Chen Daoxian's storage bag for Chen Fusheng before entering the real fairy world also contained a jade card that could find the trace of the other party. If you want to come to JIS family as the Yuanying family, there are more methods of tracing. This is also the reason why the Ji family cultivator can gather more than a dozen people in just a few hours after entering the true immortal origin realm, compared with more than a dozen Ji family foundation establishment cultivators. When the three blue lions of the lion camel country can gather together, it is the real luck. Although the essence of vitality cannot improve the cultivation of the world monster, it can prevent the cultivation of human monks. Therefore, when the world monsters encounter the essence of vitality, they will definitely bring it into their source world as soon as possible, and will not give the cultivator a chance to improve their cultivation. But behind these three blue lion spirits, the essence of vitality is floating, and they are not included in the source world. The other party must want to use these essence of vitality to fish. Therefore, there is this scene that Chen Daoxian saw. Seeing that Chen Daoxian was indifferent, Ji Yanzhao couldn't help but be in a hurry and asked for help again. "Brother Chen, help me quickly, we will share the essence of vitality after the event." Yanzhao. Another cultivator of the Ji family heard this and was immediately dissatisfied. Although his status in the Ji family was not as high as Ji Yanzhao's, his cultivation was much higher than Ji Yanzhao's. Therefore, this trip is also based on him. Once he can obtain this essence of vitality, it is entirely possible for him to hit the Zifu period. Now that Ji Yanzhao opened his mouth to split half, the possibility of him breaking through the purple mansion was gone. It's a matter of the road, where can he take care of his kinship? If it wasn't for Ji Yanzhao's grandfather being the Jindan elder in the clan, he would have turned his face on the spot. Even so, his face at the moment is not very good looking. Seeing that the clan brother was dissatisfied, Ji Yanzhao hurriedly explained through his divine sense voice transmission, "Brother Yanzhua clan, seeing how these three blue lions are so skillful, it may not be easy for us to take them down." Hearing this, the young cultivator named Ji Yanzhu's expression froze. He knew that Ji Yanzhao was right, and then he retorted, "Clan brother, didn't you just say to use the cards left by the 13 elders? Besides, this person is only a middle-stage foundation-building cultivator. Even 13 of us can't take down these three blue lion spirits. What's the use of adding one more person?" "Brother, you don't know something," Ji Yanzhao explained. "I once had a relationship with this person, and I investigated this cultivator named Chen Daoxian afterwards. Although this Chen Daoxian has a low cultivation level, he is a sword cultivator." Sword repair. Ji Yanzhua was horrified when she heard the words. Ordinary foundation building cultivators don't care at all, but sword cultivators are different. Ordinary foundation building sword cultivators can at least match dozens or even dozens of cultivators of the same rank. Sword cultivators are called invincible at the same rank, but it is not without reason. Although the 13 of them are the best among the foundation building cultivators, they will not be afraid of the foundation building period sword cultivators when they are united together. But it is not an easy task to defeat the opponent. "But if you do this, isn't it really going to give him half of the essence of vitality?" Ji Yanzhua hesitated. "How can you divide him in half?" Ji Yanzhao hurriedly said, "After killing the three blue lion spirits, I will take out the whole card my grandfather left me and force him to leave. After you break through the Purple Palace period with your vitality essence, you don't have to worry about his revenge anymore. Under the gulp of tigers, we can still save the whole card my grandfather gave me. After all, there are far more world monsters than my human cultivators here. Although the opportunity is deep, the danger is even heavier. One more trump card can also give more safety." Hearing this, Ji Yanzhua completely let go of the grudge just now, and joked, "Yanzhao, if you do this, you are not afraid of offending a sword cultivator?" "What are you afraid of?" Ji Yanzhao said disdainfully, "No matter how talented you are, after all, you are from a small family, you can't say whether you can get out of the real fairyland alive, let alone in the future. If cultivators such as me are so timid in their work, what kind of immortals are they still to cultivate, and what avenues do they seek?" Well said. Hearing these remarks, Ji Yanzhua couldn't help but respect Ji Yanzhao, who used to think that Ji Yanzhao was the grandfather of Elder Jindan. But when he heard these words, for the first time, he had a sense of identity with Ji Yanzhao. The communication between the two of them is slow and fast. It's done almost instantly. Seeing that Chen Daoxian was still unmoved, Ji Yanzhao said through his divine sense, "Brother Chen, although you and I were a little unhappy before, we are both human monks here and should belong to the same camp. After this incident, I will personally apologize to Brother Chen." Hearing this, Chen Daoxian took a deep look at the other party. Before he could make a decision, the three green lion spirits made the choice for him. Standing in the air, Chen Daoxian only felt a huge pressure pressing on him, making him feel like he was in a quagmire. Source World Projection. Chen Daoxian frowned. Please remember this book's first domain name. _WAP. Chapter 254. The source world projection of the world demon is somewhat similar to the Dao domain of the human monks. Of course, the source world projection of these three blue lion spirits is far inferior to the fourth level Dao domain of the Great Dao, and even the domain-like instruments of higher rank are not comparable. But in a battle of the same rank, the human race cultivator is no match for the world monster. At this moment, it is suppressed by the source world projection, and its strength is weakened, and it is not the opponent of the world monster. This is also the reason why the 13 foundation building cultivators of the Ji family were suppressed by 3 foundation building level blue lions. At the moment when Chen Daoxian was enveloped by the projection of the Qingshi Jingyuan realm, one after another star lights bloomed among the crowd. Almost in an instant, Xingmang ripped apart the 3 blue lion spirits and the 12 foundation building cultivators of the Ji family, leaving only Ji Yanzhao standing there dumbfounded. It wasn't that Chen Daoxian was showing mercy, but the crystal-clear little sword suspended in front of the opponent, and Ji Yanzhao's whole body was firmly protected by this little sword. Character. Chen Daoxian frowned slightly. Why? Ji Yanzhao was completely frightened by the scene in front of him. He didn't know why Chen Daoxian would suddenly attack them. He didn't even expect that Chen Daoxian would be so strong. Are all swordsmen so powerful? Chen Daoxian's strength simply subverted Ji Yanzhao's cognition of Jianshou. As the largest immortal cultivator family in Jingzhou, the Ji family has a small number of sword cultivators, but it is not too small. Ji Yanzhao even played against these foundation-building sword cultivators. Although he was crushed by a sword cultivator of the same rank, the opponent would never be able to kill so many foundation cultivators with one blow like Chen Daoxian. This person, isn't it a late-stage cultivator of the Zifu pretending to be? Chen Daoxian looked at Ji Yanzhao's terrified expression on his face. Without saying a word, the starlight condensed, and he slashed at Ji Yanzhao again. Boom! The small sword-shaped talisman suspended in front of Ji Yanzhao blocked Chen Daoxian's attack for the second time. Chen Daoxian stared at it and saw that this small sword-shaped talisman did not change at all, except that the light on the sword was a little dim. Don't waste your energy. Even if you are a cultivator of the Zifu, you can't break the defense of the Qingfu sword for a while. Seeing that Fu Jian blocked Chen Daoxian's offensive, Ji Yanzhao stabilized his mind. As long as the seniors are willing to let me go, I will make a blood oath and pretend that nothing happened. And, everything here is yours. How about you? Hearing this, Chen Daoxian remained silent. Seeing Chen Daoxian's unmoved appearance, Ji Yanzhao was heartbroken, and immediately flew out of the oasis. He is gambling. He bet that Chen Daoxian could meet the cultivator of the Zifu of the human race before breaking the defense of the Qingfu sword. In this way, he has the hope of being rescued. Standing here and expecting Qing Fujian to defeat Chen Daoxian is undoubtedly unrealistic. Ji Yanzhao, even if he is a pig, understands that Chen Daoxian's strength far exceeds the upper limit of the foundation-building cultivator, and is even stronger than the ordinary Zifu cultivator. At least the cultivators in the early period of Zifu could not kill the 12 Ji family foundation establishment monks and the 3 foundation establishment world demons in one blow. With this kind of strength, no one would believe that Chen Daoxian was a late-stage cultivator of Zifu. Seeing this, Chen Daoxian couldn't care about hiding his strength. Immediately, he displayed 3 heads and 6 arms, and his body and sword were combined into one, turning it into a single drill, and pounced in the direction of Ji Yanzhao's flight. 6-armed strike. Sky. The 6 sword beams merged into one and slashed towards Ji Yanzhao. The Qingfu's sword seemed to feel the power of this blow, and the sword body trembled wildly. Ji Yanzhao only felt that he was enveloped by a fear of death, and the whole person turned hideous. Until this moment, he didn't understand why Chen Daoxian suddenly shot at them. Forward! Ji Yanzhao turned his head with difficulty, and before he could say anything to beg for mercy, he was completely beheaded by Chen Daoxian with a sword and completely beheaded into nothingness. In the sky, the cracks in the space torn apart by Chen Daoxian's sword glow slowly repaired and merged with Ji Yanzhao's death. This action is slow and fast. From Ji Yanzhao's escape to Chen Daoxian's use of 6-armed strikes to kill him, the two of them have not yet rushed out of this small oasis. Chen Daoxian's spiritual sense glanced over, and after confirming that the other party was completely dead, he shook his head and said, using spiritual sense to transmit sound in front of someone whose spiritual sense is stronger than you has no common sense at all. It turned out that although Ji Yanzhao and his clan brothers' divine sense transmission was secret, Chen Daoxian's divine sense was comparable to that of a cultivator of the Zifu, and it was almost no different from what he said in his ear. The cultivator is not strong enough and only engages in these insidious tricks, which is no different from the jumping clown. Of course, this was also because Ji Yanzhao had seriously misestimated Chen Daoxian's strength, or he didn't know much about Jianshou at all. He mistakenly thought that the strength of all the foundation-building sword cultivators was not much different, which led to the end of death. If it weren't for him conspiring against Chen Daoxian. Otherwise, even if his cultivation level is upgraded to the 9th floor of the foundation building, the improvement in his strength will be almost nothing. In the stage of foundation building, the essence of vitality is not as strong as the blood marrow to improve his strength. At least Chen Daoxian's body refining strength is far from the limit derived from flesh and blood. Chen Daoxian's basic strength of qi refining is 10, and his basic strength of body refining has only reached 4. Compared with the fact that there is almost no room for improvement in qi refining strength at the foundation building level, Chen Daoxian's body refining strength has much more room for improvement. Next to the oasis freshwater lake, Chen Daoxian set up a simple defensive formation, sat cross-legged and thought. The 3 treasures belong to the 3 realms of heaven, earth and human beings. Moreover, after our group of cultivators of the Foundation Establishment Purple Mansion entered the true immortal origin realm, they were teleported to different locations. Could it be teleported to different places according to the different cultivation bases? What about the realm? Chen Daoxian guessed. If this is the case, it can explain why the master of the Jinhai Palace chose 10,000 foundation-building cultivators. We foundation-building cultivators, in addition to being a reserve force, should still be transporting troops. Chen Daoxian raised his head, transportation of vitality essence or blood marrow for the cultivators of Zifu. Although all this is just Chen Daoxian's guess, he has a hunch that this is likely to be the truth of the matter. Otherwise, it is impossible for the Hall Master of Jinhai Palace to dispatch 10,000 foundation establishment cultivators for no reason. If it is only used as a backup force, would it be bad to replace the foundation establishment cultivators with more Zifu cultivators? The only reason is that after entering the true immortal origin realm, the cultivators of the Zifu may not be able to enter the realm where the essence of vitality is, and they can only rely on the cultivators to send them there. To verify whether this guess is true, Chen Daoxian only needs to find some more human monks or world demons to see if they have a foundation-building cultivation base. No matter what, improve your cultivation first. Thinking of this, Chen Daoxian didn't think much about it. Using the essence of vitality to directly improve the cultivation base is something that can or can't be asked, whether it is in the real demon world or in the human race's immortal world. Although these 2 essences of vitality would not allow Chen Daoxian to break through to the Purple Palace period, it would also allow him to further his cultivation. Thinking of this, Chen Daoxian took out the jade crystal bottle. The next moment, the transparent mist in the jade crystal bottle rushed towards Chen Daoxian's body. Soon, the essence of vitality followed Chen Daoxian's body, and finally merged into the sea of qi in the Dantian. Dantian gas is domestic. The originally calm Jinyuan Lake suddenly became turbulent. Every trace of mist merges into the Jinyuan Lake, and Chendeoxuan's Jinyuan Lake grows. Along with the growth of the Jinyuan Lake, Chendeoxuan's Dantian Qi Sea is also growing. In less than an hour, the Dantian Qi Sea seemed to have grown to a certain limit, suddenly skyrocketing. Breakthrough, build the 6th floor of the foundation. Chen Daoxian said in surprise. Compared with swallowing spiritual medicine, refining spiritual qi, a way to improve one's cultivation, and incorporating the essence of vitality, is simply a hang-up. It's just that this method of opening up and improving one's cultivation can only raise the monk's cultivation to the Purple Palace period, and then if he wants to continue to improve, he has to ask the monk's realm to keep up with his cultivation. This is also the reason why the Zifu cultivator was reluctantly recognized as a high-level cultivator by the Shoshin world. Because after becoming a cultivator of Zifu, even if the cultivator's understanding is poor, he must comprehend the Tao, otherwise the Tao's realm is not enough, and wanting to improve his cultivation is as difficult as going to the sky. Chen Daoxian didn't have any realm problems, let alone relying on the essence of vitality to achieve Zifu. Even using it to make rapid progress in Zifu's cultivation base was a piece of cake. This is the benefit of high realm. Otherwise, the general base building cultivator's realm is not enough. Even if he obtains the essence of multi-element energy, he can only improve his cultivation to the early stage of Zifu at most. How can he improve his cultivation without restraint like Chen Daoxian? Building the 7th floor of the foundation. After more than an hour, as the last trace of vitality essence merged into the Jinyuan Lake, his Dantian Qi Sea expanded again, and his cultivation level officially entered the 7th floor of foundation establishment, reaching the later stage of foundation establishment. Open your eyes from the retreat. Chen Daoxian murmured, the speed of improving cultivation is too terrifying. Until now, Chen Daoxian is a little unbelievable. There are such treasures in this world, which can directly help cultivators improve their cultivation. However, Chen Daoxian was relieved when he thought that this essence of vitality was only found in the real immortal level source world. The true fairy world is extremely rare, and it is a matter of two to say whether the true monster world exists today, let alone let it provide the essence of vitality for the human cultivator, the archenemy. Shaking his head, he sighed at his greed. Chen Daoxian put away the empty jade crystal bottle and began to count the harvest of the 2 treasure hunts. In the 2 treasure hunts, apart from Ji Yanzhao who was cut into nothingness by his storage bag, Chen Daoxian confiscated a total of 13 storage bags, various instruments used by the monk, and 3 foundation building Jiayuan beads. He first pierced the Jiayuanzhu, allowing the golden scriptures in the Sea of Consciousness to absorb the chaotic energy in the Jiyuanzu, and then fed it back into stardust, which was stored in Chen Daoxuan's Sea of Consciousness. Seeing that he added a small wave of Xingqian because he had consumed almost half of the stardust in the Wan Xinghai trial, Chen Daoxuan's mood became better again. According to the average time it takes him to have an epiphany for 1 foundation establishment level Jiayuanzhu, the comprehension stardust fed back by these 3 Jiyuan beads can extend his epiphany time by a day and a half. Comprehension stardust is a strategic resource for Chen Daoxian, and it is not too much. For him, as long as he has enough comprehension stardust, he can use the method of opening and hanging to improve the realm of the avenue. This advantage, all monks cannot compare to him. No evildoer can compare to Chen Daoxian, who has sufficient understanding and stardust. If there is, it means that the amount of stardust of his perception is not enough. In fact, for Chen Daoxian, the greatest treasure of the true immortal origin realm is not the essence of vitality, nor the blood marrow, but a huge number of demons. Before, he had only beheaded more than 50 world demons in Dayuan Kingdom, but he actually attracted the pursuit of the demon master. Although there are a large number of demons in the Great Yuan Demon Nation, if you want to kill them, you have to be prepared to roll over. In the true immortal origin realm, there is no such worry at all. Because in the true immortal origin realm, especially this realm, it is very likely that all of them are base building level demons, and there is not even a purple level monster. For Chen Daoxian, there is not much difference between building a base level demon and delivering food. And the number of this group of demons is as high as tens of thousands. Wait. My Wangxinghai cultivator will definitely go to the gate of the realm, and the foundation-level monsters will definitely gather near the gate of the realm in order to hunt down my human cultivator. That said, I don't need to deliberately collect the essence of vitality at all, I just need to stay at the gate of the realm and wait for the foundation-level realm demon. Chen Daoxuan's eyes suddenly lit up. In this way, the essence of vitality and Jiuanzu will not be available, it is simply delivered to your door. Thinking of this, Chen Daoxian didn't bother to check the confiscated storage bag, and only put all the items and instruments in the monk's storage bag into a high-end storage bag. As for other storage bags, they are directly crushed with sword light. It wasn't until he received the last small tower-shaped magic weapon that he paused slightly. If he remembered correctly, this tower-shaped magic weapon was seized from the Jiang family cultivator. Please remember this book's first domain name. _WAP. Chapter 255. This is. Chen Daoxian carefully inspected this tower-shaped magic weapon with his divine sense, and said with a surprised expression, Dongtian magic weapon. The space magic tool of the cave is different from the storage bag. It's not that the storage space of the Dongtian artifact must be larger than the storage bag, but the things stored in the two are different. Generally speaking, in addition to being able to store dead objects, cave instruments can also hold living objects, while storage bags can only store dead objects. Therefore, in the world of cultivating immortals, the magic tools of the cave are much more precious than the space magic tools such as storage bags. The large transport ship owned by the Chen family is a kind of cave artifact. Of course, the cave that comes with the Chen family transport ship is much larger than the tower-shaped magic weapon in Chen Daoxuan's hand. But the size of the large transport ship is also very large, and it is impossible for Chen Daoxian to hold it in the palm of his hand like this tower-shaped instrument. From this point of view, it is hard to say which of the two is more precious. Thinking of this, Chen Daoxian couldn't help frowning. It seems that the Jiang family cultivator I killed has a very unusual background. Generally speaking, even a cultivator like the Jiang family, a mere foundation-building cultivator, would not be able to possess such a precious treasure as a cave artifact. Since this Jiang family foundation-building cultivator can possess such a precious magic weapon, it can only prove that he is not an ordinary Jiang family cultivator. But the strength of this Jiang family foundation establishment cultivator is not strong, the only possibility is that this person has a great background. But to say regret, Chen Daoxian did not feel regret. Since the other party dared to blatantly rob him, it means that the Jiang family cultivator has long had murderous intentions towards him. How could Chen Daoxian be soft-hearted? You must know that this is the real fairyland. If you kill a person here, as long as everyone is not found, even the nascent soul cultivator will not be able to find out. Therefore, the two groups of Wan Xinghai monks that Chen Daoxian met before and after were all somewhat unscrupulous. Even himself. Mastering the power and losing restraint, the evil thoughts in people's hearts will be infinitely magnified, especially in the real fairy source world, there are treasures related to the monk's path. It can be said that the true immortal origin realm at this moment is the most real and cruel appearance of the immortal cultivation realm. Usually in Wan Xinghai, there is still Chenyuan Zhenzong pressing on the heads of the monks, and everyone dare not mess around easily. But here, no force can affect everyone. As long as it is not discovered by others, even if a cultivator kills the direct disciple of Chenyuan Zhenzong on the spot, Chenyuan Zhenzong will not have the opportunity to enter the real fairy source world to find out. But then again, since the other party is carrying a storage bag, what is he doing with the cave artifact to true immortal origin realm? Chen Daoxian frowned again. Could it be? Chen Daoxian couldn't care about the Dongtian artifact in his hand, and immediately checked the Jiang family cultivator's relics that he had put in the storage bag. A long time. He just found a few jade slips among the other party's pile of relics. Chen Daoxian quickly infiltrated his consciousness into the jade slips, and checked them one by one. It's not this one, and this one isn't found. Until he looked at the fourth jade slip, Chen Daoxuan's face suddenly showed a look of surprise. Sure enough, this Jiang family cultivator is carrying the Dongtian magic weapon to capture the world demon. This fourth jade slip records the secret method of the ancient sect of Xianyunsa's beast-fighting sect, Soul Seal. The royal beast sect once flourished during the war between the human race and the demon race in ancient times. At that time, the demon clan and the human clan competed against each other, and a large number of demon beasts filled the major immortal continents in the Shou Xian world. Relying on the original Soul Seal secret method, the Imperial Beast sect has enslaved a large number of monsters as sect thugs, and it has prospered for a period of time. Only with the defeat of the monster clan, the remaining monsters either fled to untouched wild places or to the deep sea. It became more and more difficult for the Imperial Beast sect to find a large number of high-quality thugs, as before. In the end, this once prosperous sect disappeared into the history of the immortal world. However, although the Imperial Beast sect has disappeared, its Taoism has not been lost. Legend has it that in the world of immortality, there are still other forces that hold the secret methods of the Imperial Beast sect, but I didn't expect it to be the Jiang family. Chen Daoxian thought to himself. But when you think about it, it's not surprising that the Jiang family has mastered this secret technique. The Jiang family was responsible for guarding the Weiyang Immortal City for nearly 100 years, opposite the Qingqiu demon country. In the face of the huge number of nine-tailed demon foxes, it is impossible to say that the Jiang family is not moved at all. So, it makes sense that the Jiang family has mastered the Soul Seal secret technique. Chen Daoxian murmured, perhaps the Jiang family has raised a large number of demons in private. Thinking of this, he shook his head. Forget it, don't want this, it's important to do business. Chen Daoxian took the jade slip and the tower-shaped Dongtian artifact into his arms, drove the escape light, and flew further south. Really? The situation in this realm is exactly the same as Chen Daoxian's guess. The further south you fly, the more signs of life, but unfortunately, there are no traces of life other than plants and water sources. Along the way, he did encounter a lot of world monsters and Wanxinghai monks, but Chen Daoxian did not alarm them. Instead, he exerted the breath-holding technique to the extreme and passed by quietly. With his escaping speed faster than the ordinary Zifu cultivator, no realm demon or Wanxinghai cultivator found it. Flying for about a day and a night, Chen Daoxian finally saw a huge space barrier. Chen Daoxian flew close to the space barrier, put his hand on the transparent crystal wall, and said with a smile on his face, sure enough, the Zifu cultivator and the foundation building cultivator are not in the same realm. However, my escaping speed is much faster than that of the foundation establishment cultivators, and they are still looking for the essence of vitality everywhere to improve their cultivation. Besides, attacking and killing the world demon is justified, you can't directly rob the Wanxinghai cultivator, right? Chen Daoxian could not help frowning. Once the foundation establishment world demon is killed, everything in the source world will turn into chaos in an instant. Even if the other party stores the essence of vitality in the source world, Chen Daoxian will not be able to get it. If you want to get a lot of Jia Yuanzhu and get a lot of vitality essence, you have to plan carefully. Chen Daoxian muttered. He found that he had made things simple before. Jia Yuanzhu is not difficult to obtain, but if he wants to obtain the essence of vitality, he can't slaughter Wanxinghai cultivator for it. Once this matter is exposed, everyone in his Chen family will be yelled at. Thinking of this, Chen Daoxian pondered again, unless I put on a black glove. Chen Daoxian's eyes lit up when he thought of the Soul Seal secret method seized from the Jiang family cultivator, and this black glove has to be strong enough. In a large oasis north of the space barrier, 9 demon foxes displayed a demon body image. 9 fox tails were erected behind them like a pillar of the sky, and huge blood-colored demon pupils stared at the 12 bat demons in front of them. The big monster with red eyes, everyone is a monster, why should they kill each other? A bat demon looked at the 9-tailed demon fox in front of him in horror, and trembled. It is obviously a foundation-level world demon, but it is called a big demon by the bat demon of the extreme night demon country. It can be seen that this 9-tailed demon fox, known as the Red Eye, has a great reputation in the Qingqiu demon country. Hear this. The red-eyed demon grinned and sneered, "You are a bat, I am a fox demon, how do we come from the same race? You. The leading bat demon looked at the big red-eyed demon, speechless in horror. It stands to reason that although Chi Tong is powerful and comparable to the Zifu-level monster, he shouldn't be so frightened by the wind. The reason why Chi Tong's reputation is so great, in addition to its strength, is also related to its style. Generally speaking, the world monsters of the major demon countries will raise all kinds of blood food for the world monsters to cultivate the source world. The same is true of the Qingqiu Demon Kingdom. They built a large number of cities within the country, and raised human races in the cities for them to devour. But in the demon country of Qingqiu, there is a monster. It doesn't eat the human race it supports, but likes to eat other world monsters. Especially in the extremely night demon country, which is weaker than the Qingqiu demon country, there are often world demons that are swallowed by the red pupils. This Chi Tong is extremely smart, and every time he makes a move on the border of the Qingqiu demon nation without knowing it, he evacuates quickly after he succeeds, not giving the big demon and the demon king of the extreme night demon nation a chance to react. In addition, the border between the Qingqiu demon nation and the extreme night demon nation is extremely long, and it is impossible for the big demon and the demon king to stay at the border all year round for a small base-building world demon. Therefore, after a few more arrests by the demon nation of the extreme night, they just let it go. Anyway, this big red-eyed demon is very measured. Every time he is active near the border, he will never enter the hinterland of the extreme night demon country. The big demons and demon kings of the demon kingdom of extreme night don't care. The lowly base-building little demons are miserable, and the little demons are often swallowed by Chi Tong. After coming and going, the base-building little demon of the extremely night demon country is more afraid of Chi Tong than the big demon of their own country. Gradually, with her powerful strength and cruel style, Chi Tong won the title of Great Demon in the extreme night demon country. Inside a large oasis. Although there are 13 bat monsters on this side, and only Chi Tong on the opposite side, these bat monsters in the extreme night monster country have no certainty of winning, and instead faintly want to escape from here. Chi Tong devoured so many demons from the extreme night demon nation, and he saw the timidity in the others' eyes at a glance. Want to run? The 9 fox tails behind the red-eyed demon are like 9 pillars that lift the sky, rolling up the 9 bat demons like a streamer. Wow! Rolling up the 9 bat demons, the big red-eyed demon opened its mouth, and directly sent the 9 bat demons into the mouth, chewing frantically. Ah! 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 With a scream, the 9 bat demons soon died, and their bodies and their origins were all swallowed by the red-eyed demon. After swallowing 9 bat demons, the big red-eyed demon glanced at the direction in which the other bat demons fled. Instead of chasing after them, they crawled on the spot and digested them seriously. As the big red-eyed demon crawls on the ground, the source realm in the body frantically swallows up the source realm of the bat demon. A day later, the origin of the 9 bat demons was completely digested, and the big red-eyed demon stood up, his breath stronger. At this time, it is really only a thin line away from the Zifu-level monster. Moreover, in terms of real strength, Chi Tong is probably stronger than the ordinary Zifu Great Demon. Who? At the moment when the big red-eyed demon regained its human form, it quickly turned its head, and the demon pupil stared at the void. Sharp! In the void, a figure wearing a white robe suddenly appeared. It was Chen Daoxian who was looking for black gloves in this realm. Human monk. Chi Tong looked at Chen Daoxian vigilantly. Chi Tong was extremely terrified. It asked itself that there was no opponent in the base-building level big monster. I didn't expect to find a human cultivator lurking beside him for so long. Although the ability to hide does not mean that the strength is necessarily strong, it at least proves that this person can attack it when it is absorbed in digestion, causing it to die. You've been following me for a long time? Chi Tong probed. Right. Chen Daoxian nodded. To be precise, he has been looking for black gloves in this realm for a long time. This big demon named Chi Tong is his favorite black gloves. Hearing this, Chi Tong felt even more jealous of Chen Daoxian in his heart. But it did not show weakness. human monk, if I were you, I would definitely run as far as the uncle is in a good mood at this moment. You don't eat people? Hearing this, Chi Tong's fox face wrinkled. What exactly are you trying to say? It's nothing, I'm just curious that a world demon would actually not eat people. Eat human? Chi Tong smiled disdainfully, only the weak will eat that kind of thing. Compared with your human race, the origin of the monster race is the real supplement. Hearing this, Chen Daoxian laughed. Understood, so it is. What do you want to say in the end? For some reason, the unease in Chi Tong's heart became stronger and stronger. Nothing, Chen Daoxian spread his hands and said with a smile, it's just that I just lack a spiritual pet, would you like to be it? What? The red-eyed demon simply suspected that there was something wrong with his ears. This human cultivator actually wanted it to be the other party's spiritual pet. Next second. A nine-tailed demon fox with a body as high as 100 meters tall, covered in snow white, and fur like a steel needle suddenly appeared in front of Chen Daoxian. Cultivator of the human race, I didn't hear you just now, say it again. Chi Tong grinned and said with a cruel smile. Feeling the hot breath coming towards his face, Chen Daoxian commented with a smile, is this your real body? Yes, the fur is smooth, the eyes are bright, and it is a good spiritual pet. Hearing this, Chi Tong was stunned for a moment, and then roared, who? Human cultivator, you are courting death. With this roar, the moisture in the air in front of Chi Tong was suddenly evaporated into a white mist. Immediately afterwards, a demon claw came out from the white fog. At the same time, where Chen Daoxian was, the space was immediately torn apart by a crack. Taking a closer look, Chi Tong found that the front was empty. Here it is. On top of Chi Tong's head, a Taoist dressed in white stood between its ears. This time, Chi Tong was completely irritated, and the projection of the source world directly suppressed Chen Daoxian. Feeling the terrifying pressure that was twice as good as the previous projection of the blue lion spirit, Chen Daoxian shook his head. The projection of the realm is really a powerful magical power. Die! Seeing Chen Daoxian's figure who was unable to move after being suppressed by the source world projection, Chi Tong showed a cruel smile again. Just the next moment, the smile on its face solidified. What did you do to me? Please remember this book's first domain name. _WAP. Chapter 256, On the Oasis. The nine-tailed demon fox with a height of 100 meters stood stiffly on the spot. The 9 white fox tails were like white stone pillars that had been petrified, and a trace of panic flashed through the blood-colored demon eyes. Can you still talk? Chen Daoxian was quite surprised to see that the 9-tailed demon fox in front of him could still speak. Unexpectedly, with his spiritual consciousness stronger than that of ordinary Zifu cultivators, the soul-fixing light he displayed could not completely fix the opponent's figure. The red-eyed monster only felt that its soul was stripped and frozen, and it could not control the physical body at all, and even the source world that was most closely related to it lost control. After the source world projection lost control, it disappeared immediately. Let go of me. The red-eyed demon said with difficulty. Chen Daoxian was unmoved, turned around and pointed between the eyebrows of the giant red-eyed monster. Immediately, a mini scarlet demon soul was pulled out of the opponent's body by Chen Daoxian. As the mini red demon soul was pulled out, the blood-colored demon pupil of the big red-eyed demon gradually lost its radiance. Ow! An inaudible howl came from the mouth of the red demon soul. Accompanied by this howl, the demon's soul of the big red-eyed demon became somewhat illusory. Chen Daoxian knew that this was the reason why the soul was weak and could not be exposed to the physical body for a long time. If a cultivator wants to travel far and wide, he must at least reach the primordial spirit stage. This 9-tailed demon fox has not yet reached the purple mansion stage. Under normal circumstances, it is difficult to even consolidate the soul. If Chen Daoxian hadn't mastered that soul seal secret technique unique to Yu Beast sect, he wouldn't be able to pull the opponent's soul out of his body at all. Seeing that the other party was exposed and getting weaker and weaker, Chen Daoxian did not dare to neglect. The hands quickly formed the seal, and the real energy and spiritual consciousness were consumed wildly. The next second, a complex imprint of the divine soul flew out from between Chen Daoxian's eyebrows and branded toward the red demon soul. Laugh! A sound as if cold water was poured on the red-hot iron came out. Ow! A miserable howl came from the mouth of the red demon soul, and a complex mark appeared between the eyebrows of the mini fox-shaped demon soul. As this imprint appeared, Chen Daoxian only felt a little more fetters in his soul. Through this bond, he can punish and even control the life and death of this nine-tailed demon fox at will. Seeing that soul seal was planted, Chen Daoxian did not dare to neglect, and quickly photographed the red demon's soul back to the body of the big red-eyed monster, and lifted the suppression of the soul-defying magic light on the big red-eyed monster. The red-eyed demon who lost the restraint of the fixed soul and regained his freedom, the fierce light flashed in his eyes. Roar! Human monk, I killed you! With a roar, the red-eyed demon opened its mouth and bit towards Chen Daoxian. But this time, Chen Daoxian did not dodge or dodge, floated quietly in the air, and looked at it indifferently. Boom! On the oasis, a cloud of dust and smoke filled the air, and the snow-white demon fox with a height of 100 meters was controlled by an invisible mysterious force, and fell into a posture of eating shit. This time, the look in the eyes of the red-eyed demon looking at Chen Daoxian completely changed. From a trace of panic to fear. What did you do to me? The big demon with red eyes roared in a low voice. You really didn't lie, you really didn't devour the human race. After Chen Daoxian checked the other party's soul memory, he smiled. I officially inform you that you will be my spiritual pet from every day. Remember your master's name. My name is Chen Daoxian. Hear this. The red-eyed demon was even more angry, and quickly stood up from the oasis. In the billowing smoke and dust, the blood-colored demon pupils looked like two terrifying red suns. Go to hell, Before the ruthless words could be said, a pain that penetrated into the soul drowned the red-eyed monster. Stop it, stop it. In less than 2 breaths, the red-eyed demon couldn't stand the pain from the depths of his soul, and chose to surrender. This is not Chen Daoxian taking the initiative to punish it, but the punishment function that comes with soul seal. Once a spirit pet is planted with a soul imprint by its master, if there is a slight sign of resistance to the master, it will usher in the attack of the soul imprint. This kind of attack is a direct attack on the soul, not to mention the nine-tailed demon fox. Even if the primordial spirit is powerful, it can't withstand this kind of attack. The horror of soul seal is that it will increase with the enhancement of the soul of the caster. In theory, without the help of external force, it is impossible to get rid of the control of soul seal. Are you satisfied? I'm done, I've done it. Quick, stop it. The red-eyed demon screamed desperately, but the pain did not ease, but instead became heavier. I said I was convinced, why don't you stop? The big demon with red eyes stared at Chen Daoxian viciously, gnashing his teeth. Seeing this, Chen Daoxian shook his head helplessly and said, after being planted with a soul imprint, if you are not convinced, the pain will not stop. The more you hate me, the more painful it will be. Sure enough, the red-eyed monster rolled all over the ground in pain, and a large area of vegetation on the oasis was completely destroyed by it. After about a stick of incense, the tumbling movement of the red-eyed monster gradually diminished. And, are you sure you want to offend the jade-faced demon king? Chi Tong and the demon fox named Siye were at each other's throats, but the other demon foxes all assumed the posture of watching a play. In the real demon world, the idea of the strong being respected is deeply rooted in the demon heart. Not to mention that Siye has a backstage. Even if it is the blood descendant of the Qingqiu king, if it is not strong, it will still be despised by the clan. In the real demon world, no demon is willing to follow the weak. The same is true of the nine-tailed demon fox clan of the Qingqiu demon country. Siye was extremely annoyed when she saw the other demon foxes posing on the sidelines. But Xie was very afraid of the tyrannical aura that Qi Tong exudes. It's said that it was not afraid of Qi Tong, but in the real fight, Xie had no certainty of winning. The other side. Qi Tong is also communicating with Chen Daoxian in the small tower. Master, the leading demon fox is called Xie, and his strength is probably not below mine. Xie is afraid of Qi Tong, and Qi Tong is also afraid of Xie. You must know that this Xie can be the leader among the elite foxes, and his strength must be far superior to fox demons of the same rank. In the small tower, Chen Daoxian's spiritual sense said, "Don't worry, I have everything." Although it is afraid of Xie, it is more aware of Chen Daoxian's strength. So he put on an impatient expression and said, "Stop talking nonsense, just come to fight." "Fight, fight, I'm afraid you won't succeed." Xie is also hot-tempered, just a little bit. "Say it." The two immediately revealed their true bodies. On the oasis, two nine-tailed demon foxes with a height of 100 meters faced each other. The rest of the demon foxes had already fled to the distance to watch the battle, daring not to approach the two of them. "Qi Tong, others say that you are not cannibals, you are arrogant by nature, and you have no rivals in the same rank. Today I will let you see if you have any rivals in the same rank." Roar! "Stop talking nonsense, the source world projection." Almost at the same time, the source world projections of Qi Tong and Shiyu suppressed each other, boom. The huge figures of the two demon foxes sank suddenly again under this oppression. On the oasis, large areas of vegetation were destroyed, and countless cracks were pressed out of the ground. But at the moment, no one cares about that. The two nine-tailed demon foxes rushed towards each other violently, without any preheating, they directly fought against each other, boom. 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 As the battle progressed, Qi Tong and Shiyu's injuries became more and more serious. The snow-white hair was covered with blood. But the two demons were all unwilling to back down. The big monster with red eyes, it really lives up to its reputation. "You're not bad either," Akihito commented. At this time, it had long forgotten Chen Daoxian as a helper, and was madly venting the anger that had just accumulated in Chen Daoxian to Xie. "Come again." "Okay." The two demons fought together again. On the oasis, the dust was flying, the earth was completely cracked, and the fire veins from the ground were surging out and slapped on the two demons. But this ground fire that can burn mortals to ashes, to the two demons, is like bathing them, without any harm. The entire oasis was soon completely destroyed by the battle between the two demons. As the battle progresses, because of being attacked by the soul imprint before, Qi Tong, who was in a state of decline, couldn't hold it any longer. Seeing Qi Tong showing a slump, an anthropomorphic surprise appeared on Shiyu's fox face. "Die!" Xie's fox tail swept across, and Qi Tong suddenly fell. Immediately afterwards, Xie broke Qi Tong's defense with her demon claws, opened her mouth and bit down on Qi Tong's neck. Just when Xie thought it was going to kill Qi Tong in one bite, the whole body froze suddenly, and suddenly stood on the spot. This look is exactly the same as the previous Qi Tong. At this time, Qi Tong didn't know that Chen Daoxian made a move, took the opportunity to bite Xie's neck, and then yanked it violently. The next moment, a huge fox head slammed to the ground and smashed into the cracked underground fire vein. Looking at the corpse of Xie, Qi Tong roared up to the sky. Then, it picked up the huge corpse of Xie and flew to the crowd of demons. Boom! He casually threw down Xie's corpse, and his red eyes looked around at the demons. "From now on, you will follow me. Are you still dissatisfied?" The fox demons looked at each other and shook their heads. Then they said in unison, "I have seen the leader of Qi Tong." "Very good," Qi Tong nodded with satisfaction. "Now, hand over all the vitality essence you have collected. Please remember this book's first domain name. _WAP. Chapter 257. Hearing this, a fox demon with a slightly shorter stature came out of the crowd, and asked in confusion, "Master Chief, What do you want the essence of vitality for? Chi Tong tilted her head, a cruel smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. Are you questioning me? My subordinates dare not. Agitated by Chi Tong's murderous intent, the fox demon was startled and waved his hands again and again. The corpse of the Xie great demon is still in front of everyone. Who would dare to contradict Chi Tong at this time? Isn't that looking for death? Seeing that the other party was so cowardly, Chi Tong showed a disdainful expression on his face and explained, "What do you know? Not only do I want to collect the essence of vitality in your hands, but all the clansmen who join our team in the future must also hand in the essence of vitality." Master Chief, why is this? Why? Chi Tong smiled. Who do you think the essence of vitality is most useful to in this realm? Hearing this, the fox demon said without hesitation, of course it's a human monk. According to the knowledge of the subordinates, most of the human monks in Weiyang Xianqing are qi refining monks, and the essence of vitality can directly improve their cultivation. Yes, I didn't expect you to have some insight. Chi Tong nodded. Among the 5 forces that have entered the true immortal origin realm, only the human race monks are the weakest, and the Great Yuan Demon Nation and the Lion Camel Demon Nation are the strongest. But if the human race obtains a lot of vitality essence, then the situation is different. Think about it, if all 10,000 Foundation Establishment cultivators use their vitality essence to break through to the Purple Palace period, how much of a threat will they pose to the people of our Qingqiu Demon Nation? Hearing this, all the demons immediately talked a lot. Yeah, the essence of vitality must not fall into the hands of human monks in large quantities. Indeed. The leader is right. Seeing that the demons agreed with its idea, Chi Tong continued, not only that, the human race monks in the world can even carry a large amount of vitality essence to the human world. At that time, after the cultivators of the Zifu of the human race have obtained these essences of vitality, it will be the moment of disaster for our Qingqiu Demon Nation, and even all the world demons. Therefore, before entering the real fairyland, the country lord ordered us not to let the cultivators obtain a large amount of vitality essence. I even guess that this order was not only given by the lord, but the other 3 demon nations must have also given similar orders. Leader Chi Tong is right. On the opposite side, the fox demon nodded in agreement. At this moment, the fox demon on the opposite side was completely convinced of the red-eyed demon fox. As a leader, in addition to having the strength to frighten the heroes, you must also have extraordinary vision and wisdom. Obviously, the red-eyed demon possesses these 2 qualities. No wonder the other party is so famous, the demon fox on the opposite side thought to himself. That's why I have to concentrate on preserving the essence of vitality you have collected, so that there is no chance for the cultivators to take advantage of it. Hearing this explanation, all the demons nodded. The leader of Chi Tong is the strongest. It is up to you to preserve the essence of everyone's vitality, which is truly foolproof. Yes. I am willing to hand over the essence of vitality. I would too. All the monsters responded one after another and took out their own vitality essence from their respective origins. Chi Tong looked at the large mass of vitality essence floating in front of him, nodded, waved his hand lightly, and put it into the small tower that he carried with him. Children, you are. The fox demon on the opposite side looked at Chi Tong in surprise, wondering why it didn't put the essence of vitality into the source world, but into a small tower. Chi Tong did not answer the other party, but gently waved to it and said, "Come with me." The only fox demon who questioned it hesitated for a moment and chose to follow behind Chi Tong. "You are waiting for me here." Chi Tong gave a casual command and flew to the side with this fox demon. "Avoid monsters." Chi Tong looked at the other party seriously and said, "What's your name?" "Lord Chief, my name is Zhou Gu." "Nine Gu." Chi Tong thought for a while, and it seemed that he had never heard of this name, but it didn't care. Among the same rank, he had never put any clan in his eyes. "Nine Gu, I can see that among our group of clansmen, you are the only one who has some knowledge." "Master Chief." "You listen to me first." Chi Tong raised his hand and said seriously, "You should have noticed just now that I did not put the essence of vitality into the source world, but into this small tower. This small tower magic weapon was seized from the beheaded human cultivator. I see. Jiao nodded. I'm here to tell you that if I unfortunately die in the battle with the human race cultivator in the future, you must remember to grab this small tower as soon as possible, not my origin boundary orb. The human cultivators would definitely think that my vitality essence would be stored in the origin boundary orb, but they would never have thought that I would do the opposite and hide it in the human cultivator's magic weapon. Hear this. This fox demon named Jiao admired Qi Tong in his heart. Other clansmen said that the big red-eyed monster was the least gregarious. Unexpectedly, it would be able to do this for the clansmen of the Qingqiu demon nation. Thinking that he had doubts about Qi Tong just now, Jiao couldn't help feeling guilty. Master Chief, don't worry, Jiao will definitely remember it. Jiao said solemnly. Heard. Qi Tong patted Jiao shoulder heavily. Don't worry, this is done, we have a great chance of grabbing the law of the Great Tao. After we go back, we will wait for the reward from the Lord. Oh? Jiao suddenly became interested. I don't know what the leader wants to do. Gather the clansmen, kill the strong, and let the weak. Jiao frowned and asked, what does it mean to kill the strong and let the weak go? Qi Tong smiled. Among the 5 forces in the true immortal origin realm, the Lion Camel Demon Nation and the Great Yuan Demon Nation are the strongest. If you let them gather the clansmen first, attack and slaughter other forces, and then merge with the Purple Mansion monster in the human world. We Qingqiu Demon Nation, Extreme Night Demon Nation, and the human race forces have no chance to seize the Tao Law at all. Hearing this analysis, Jiao nodded in agreement. The strength of the Lion Camel Demon Nation and the Great Yuan Demon Nation really cannot be strengthened anymore, otherwise our Qingqiu Demon Nation will not only have no hope of capturing the law of the Great Tao, but even it's hard to save your life. After all, the true immortal origin realm is so big. Once the Lion and Camel Demon Nation or the Great Yuan Demon Nation gain an absolute advantage, it will inevitably carry out a cleansing slaughter against the other forces. At that time, the demon clan of the Qingqiu demon country would have nowhere to hide. That's right, that's why I said killing power. Qi Tong nodded. Only by cutting off the base building level demons from the Lion and Camel Demon Kingdom and the Great Yuan Demon Kingdom in the Earth Realm, can we have a chance to break the dominant position of these 2 demon kingdoms in the human world. And if the Zifu Fox demon in my human world is supplemented by our new force, maybe it will become the strongest party in the 5 parties. If you want to do all this, you must gather the clansmen before the other 4 forces. As for weakening, Qi Tong laughed. Once our Qingqiu demon nation becomes the strongest party, the monsters and human monks who let go of the Extreme Night Demon Nation will not be part of my Qingqiu Demon Nation's plate. Hearing Qi Tong's plan, Jiao eyes continued to flicker. The leader has a long-term plan, and his subordinates admire it. Hey, it is impossible to weaken, even if we can gather the clansmen first, it is impossible to sweep all the forces. It would be good to have the opportunity to cut off the 2 forces of the Lion and Camel Demon Nation and the Dayuan Demon Nation. However, we must the vitality essence collected by the human monks before they escape. As long as there is no vitality essence, the human race cultivator will not be able to turn the waves, and as for the extremely night demon country. A look of disdain flashed across Qi Tong's face. Jiao thought of the reputation of this big red-eyed monster in front of him, and immediately understood why this person was so dismissive of the Extreme Night Demon Nation. It has to be said that the plan of the big monster with red eyes is well-founded, and Jiao can't find the slightest loophole. If they can really execute according to Qi Tong's plan, maybe their Qingqiu demon country will become the biggest winner of this trip. Thinking of the reward promised by the king himself after returning home, Jiao couldn't help but feel a little itchy. Seeing Jiao's heartbeat, Qi Tong sneered in her heart. It communicated to Chen Daoxian through the connection of the soul imprint. Master, after I finished speaking according to your instructions, this 9 gu has already been hooked. Well done, Chen Daoxian, who was sitting in the small tower hole, smiled and said, if you cultivate a trusted deputy, then you will be easier to do things. Thank you for the compliment, Master. With the influence of the soul imprint on it, Qi Tong's rejection of Chen Daoxian unknowingly weakened. Even more terrifying, it even began to feel that Chen Daoxian was very worthy of respect from the bottom of his heart. This change is subtle, but real. Chen Daoxian himself did not perceive this change. After he helped Qi Tong subdue a confidant, he began to retreat to absorb the essence of vitality obtained from the nine-tailed demon fox. This time, the vitality essence he obtained from the 36 nine-tailed demon foxes was more than 5 times more than what he had obtained before. Zai Day. Chen Daoxian looked at the essence of vitality floating in front of him. After a simple attempt, he found that the jade crystal bottle he was carrying could not hold it. More than 5 times the essence of vitality, enough for me to break through to the Purple Palace period. A trace of excitement flashed in Chen Daoxian's eyes. Done. Chen Daoxian guided the essence of vitality in front of him, incorporated them into his body little by little, and combined them with the real essence in the Sea of Qi in Dantian. Outside the small tower. After subduing Jiu Gu, the confidant, Qi Tong returned to the group with Jiu Gu. The first thing Qi Tong did after returning to the group. It is to announce in public that Jiu Gu will be promoted to his deputy. For Qi Tong's decision, naturally no fox demon dared to object. Afterwards, Qi Tong ordered everyone to gather the clan with all their strength, and in the process, slaughtered the demons of the Lion and Camel Demon Nation and the Great Yuan Demon Nation. One day later, in the desert, a team of more than 30 blue lion spirits was besieged by more than 100 nine-tailed demon foxes. Qi Tong, what are you trying to do? On the opposite side, a lion-faced monster bigger than Qi Tong roared. Hey, of course I'll kill you. Qi Tong showed a cruel smile, and then rushed straight towards the other party. The source world is coming. A terrifying pressure was suppressed on the body of the leading green lion spirit. Although his body sank, the green lion spirit on the opposite side was obviously very strong, and he said with disdain, the little trick of carving insects, why? The leading green lion spirit was about to fight back, but found that his body was suddenly unable to move, and his face suddenly became terrified. Haven't waited for it to respond. Qi Tong's sharp demon claws cut off its head. The poor blue lion spirit, who didn't even show the demon body, was slapped with the claws by Qi Tong, which was extremely miserable. After losing their leader and being besieged by nine-tailed demon foxes that were 3 times their number, the group of green lion spirits soon felt overwhelmed. Especially Qi Tong, the ferocious monster, joined the battle. It was even more devastating, and more than 30 blue lion spirits were killed by the demon foxes. After the war, Jiu Gu finished cleaning the battlefield and came back to report to Qi Tong Hui, Master Chief, we wiped out a total of 34 blue lion spirits in this battle. I can feel that I am only 1 step away from the Zifu Great Demon. Jiu Gu's face was full of surprises. No wonder it was rumored that the leader of Qi Tong didn't like to devour the human race. How could this devouring human race be as refreshing as swallowing the monsters of the world? Jiu Gu swallowed the 4-headed world demon before and after, and felt that he was on the verge of breaking through. If he devoured a few more heads, wouldn't he immediately become the great demon of the Purple Mansion? Think of this. Jiu Gu didn't even want to leave the true immortal origin realm, and just wanted to take this opportunity to devour other realm monsters in the true immortal origin realm. Because it knows that once it leaves the true immortal origin realm. But there is no such a good opportunity to unscrupulously slaughter the demons of the same rank in the major demon nations. Besides, fighting alone with the same rank demon, who will kill who is still uncertain. Hearing this record, Qi Tong nodded, then stretched out his hand and said, give me the captured Jia Yuanzhu. Hearing this, Jiu Gu quickly took out the Jia Yuanzhu. These are all the Jia Yuanzhu left by the Jia Yao who were killed directly and did not have time to swallow them. The world monsters cannot improve by eating dead objects. The source world in these world origin beads collapsed into chaos in the moment after the death of the blue lion spirit. For other world monsters, it has no value. Although I don't know why the leader of Qi Tong insisted on confiscating these Jia Yuanzhu, Jiu Gu, who had tasted the sweetness, couldn't care about it. It only knows that everything is just as planned by the leader of Qitong. Their strength is growing step by step. Even after seeing the fox demons, the surrounding world demon teams were all terrified and ran as far as they wanted. In Jiao life, how could he have been so reckless and carefree? In the outside world, the strength of the Qingqiu demon nation is only slightly stronger than that of the extreme night demon nation, and they are often bullied by the demons of the lion and camel demon nation and the great Yuan demon nation. But this time, Jiao Gu let out a bad breath. Just for this, the 113 fox beasts of them all surrendered to the leader of Qitong. Not to mention that the strength of the demons has increased so rapidly. After taking the Jie Yuanzhu and putting it in the small tower, Qitong patted the other party's shoulder and said, "Well done, next, you have to protect the law for me." Hearing this, Jiao Gu was shocked and said with joy, "Could it be that the leader, you?" "Right." Qitong grinned, "I'm going to break through." Please remember this book's first domain name. _WAP. Chapter 258. Terrestrial Desert. 113 fox demons were all excited when they heard that their leader, the big demon Qitong, was about to break through. Now that the leader of Qitong has not made a breakthrough, his strength has already surpassed the same level. Once they break through, in this realm, who else can stop the nine-tailed demon fox clan? After half an hour, the fox demons found a nearby oasis and lowered the light of escape. You all listen carefully, it is very important for the leader of Qitong to break through the cultivation base, so please cheer me up, don't let the cubs of the Lion Camel country and Dayuan country disturb the leader of Qitong. Yes. When the demons heard Jiao Gu's words, they responded in unison. Master Chief, Jiao Gu lowered his head, I have arranged for the clan to protect the law for you, the leader can rest assured to break through. Well done. This time, Qitong really felt that Jiao Gu, the confidant, was doing a good job. After sending away Jiao Gu, Qitong walked to the freshwater lake in the center of the oasis. Through the connection of the soul seal, Qitong said to Chen Daoxian, Master, everything is ready. Chen Daoxian, who had been meditating in Xiaodong, opened his eyes and said with a smile, if that's the case, let's break through together. Yes, Master. Xiaodong Day. Chen Daoxian's cultivation base has long since been raised to the 9th floor of the foundation building with the help of the essence of vitality, which is only one step away from the Zifu period. Chen Daoxian had never felt this kind of rocket-like improvement in his cultivation speed. Looking at the large group of vitality essence floating in front of him, Chen Daoxian no longer hesitated, and immediately absorbed them into his body. Anyway, there was a breakthrough with the red pupil outside as a cover. He broke through the purple mansion in the small tower hole and would not attract the attention of other demon foxes at all. This is also the reason why Chen Daoxian chose to break through with Qitong. With the essence of vitality entering the Dantian Qi Sea, it merges into the Zhenyuan Lake. The entire Zhenyuan Lake boiled completely. Compared with the breakthrough from the Qi refining period to the foundation building period, and from the foundation building period to the Zifu period, the cultivator's Dantian Qi Sea will experience a greater change. The cultivator builds the foundation, the changes in the Dantian's Qi Sea, in the final analysis, only the energy properties have changed. The true Qi in the Dantian Qi Sea has transformed into true essence. To break through from the foundation establishment stage to the Purple Palace stage, it is not only necessary to transform true Yuan into mana again, but also to open up a Purple Palace in the Dantian Qi Sea. During the Zifu period, it was also known as the foundation of nascent soul on the path of cultivating monks. In the future, if the cultivator can break through to the nascent soul stage after untold hardships, the so-called nascent soul will be born in the Purple Mansion. Therefore, the Yuanying of Yuanying Zhenjuan is also called Zifu Yuanying. However, it is not a simple matter to open up a Zifu in the Sea of Dantian Qi. If it is outside the real fairy source world. If a cultivator wants to break through from the foundation establishment stage to the Purple Palace stage, he needs various spiritual pills to help break through, such as the Purple Palace pill. Not only that, if a cultivator wants to break through to the Purple Palace period, he also needs the assistance of at least a third-order spiritual vein. With these foundations, only a cultivator is more than 50% certain to break through the Zifu. But in the true immortal origin realm, Chen Daoxian doesn't have either the Zifu pill or the third-order spiritual veins. He only has one treasure, that is the essence of vitality. Have to say, compared with the treasures such as Zifuten that help break through the Zifu period, the essence of vitality is the real thing against the sky. After Chen Daoxuan's Xinyuan lake came into contact with a large amount of vitality essence, it began to roll wildly. With the boiling of the true essence lake, in the center of the true essence lake, a tinge of purple things, not only matter but also energy, began to be born out of thin air. Mana! Seeing this purple substance, a flash of excitement flashed on Chen Daoxuan's face with his eyes closed. Immediately, he calmed down again. Chen Daoxian knew that this was just the beginning. Converting all the true essence lake into mana is just the first step in breaking through to the Purple Palace period. Compared with this, the second and third steps are more critical. The second step in breaking through the Purple Mansion is to open up a Purple Mansion in the Sea of Qi in Dantian. Compared to the first step, it is much more difficult to open up the Purple Mansion in the Dantian. Throughout the ages, there have been many foundation-building cultivators in the immortal cultivation world who have fallen at this step. However, it was extremely difficult for outside cultivators to open up the Purple Mansion. For Chen Daoxian, it was simply within his grasp. With the transformation of the true essence lake into lavender mana, a purple immortal mansion took shape in the Sea of Dantian Qi. Looking closely, this purple immortal mansion is still simple, but it exudes a mysterious and unusual aura. Zifu, the residence of immortals. Chen Daoxuan's heart suddenly burst into enlightenment. It turns out that the immortals here are not referring to people, but the cultivator's nascent soul. Completed the second step. Chen Daoxian breathed a sigh of relief. Soon, Chen Daoxian completely introduced his soul into Zifu. At the moment when the soul entered the Purple Mansion, Chen Daoxian suddenly felt that his soul began to sublimate. He knew that this was the effect of Zifu on the cultivation of the soul. With the cultivation of divine soul in Zifu, Chen Daoxuan's divine consciousness began to grow again. Immediately afterwards, his sea of consciousness began to expand. 120 miles, 150 miles, 170 miles. 290 miles, 300 miles, 300 miles, 350 miles. In the end, Chen Daoxuan's sea of consciousness expanded to 350 miles, and the speed of expansion slowed down. Zaidadong Day. Chen Daoxian opened his eyes, frowned and said, "Divine consciousness has only increased less than 3 times. This is obviously a bit different from the tenfold increase in consciousness after other foundation establishment cultivators broke through the Purple Mansion. However, considering that Chen Daoxuan's knowledge of the sea was already comparable to that of the cultivators of Zifu before, and it tripled again, it was already stronger than the consciousness of the late cultivators of Zifu. In addition, he has the magical power of calming the soul and divine light, which can help him expand the sea of consciousness. Chen Daoxuan's spiritual consciousness will sooner or later be comparable to that of the Jin Dan cultivator. Except for this change. What made Chen Daoxian even more excited was that the Siyu sword intent, which had been stagnant for a long time, finally broke through to the third stage of star transformation with the breakthrough of his cultivation. Dantian gas is domestic. Above the Purple Mansion, a dazzling star twinkled. This was Chen Daoxuan's first sword intent to reach the third realm. Although this kind of sword intent is only a branch of the sword intent of water travel, Chen Daoxian still has an unparalleled sense of accomplishment. Because the Siyu sword intent was comprehended bit by himself, Chen Daoxuan's feelings towards it were naturally different. Although Chen Daoxian understood the second type of sword intent, the spatial sword intent has much greater potential, but in comparison, Chen Daoxian is more accustomed to using the Siyu sword intent in battle. Speaking of space sword intent, Chen Daoxuan's space sword intent has also made great progress, from the first invisible realm to the second visible realm. Although it failed to turn into a star above Zifu, it also became a looming starlight, suspended beside Siyu Jiani. Besides, below the purple mansion, a trace of lavender mana is like a cloud, setting off the Dantian purple mansion like an immortal mansion. As for his natal instruments, they are all kept in Zifu. Looking at the changes in his Dantian energy, Chen Daoxian was very excited. Zifu period, it's finally here. As soon as the thought moved, the lavender mana suddenly circulated throughout the body. With the accumulation of mana, the originally stagnant body refinement began to break through. Flesh is derived from 4 layers, flesh is derived from 5 layers, and flesh is derived from 6 layers. After breaking through 2 small realms in a row, the tempering of Chen Daoxuan's body by Zifu mana finally stopped. Not bad, Jinjuan Yuanshan said that qi refining, body refining, and spiritual refining complement each other, and that's true. The transformation of his qi refining strength not only made his soul go further, but also made his body stronger again. Of course, the most critical changes are the changes in the realm of the Great Tao and the transformation from true essence to mana. These 2 changes have made Chen Daoxuan's strength change by leaps and bounds. Before that, Chen Daoxian thought that his strength was no weaker than the Tianjiao Zifu on the Zifu Tianjiao list. And now, he is almost certain that his strength will definitely be on the Zifu Tianjiao ranking, and his ranking is very high. Think of this. Chen Daoxian stood up and walked out of the thatched cottage silently. The small pagoda of the Jiang family monks is not large, and there is only a small valley within a radius of several kilometers. The place where Chen Daoxian retreated was in a thatched hut in the valley. Fly to a flatter part of the valley. Chen Daoxian took out the meteorite ink wall he carried with him. Boom! He placed the meteorite ink wall at the bottom of the valley and made a dull sound. Looking at the meteorite ink wall in front of him, Chen Daoxian did not use any means, but only mobilized his mana to charge towards the meteorite ink wall. Boom! A loud bang. On the ink wall, the halo flickered frantically, and the frequency was so fast that the ordinary human eye couldn't see it clearly. The next moment, a huge 50 appeared in front of Chen Daoxian. Compared to the limit state true essence, is the transformed Zifu's mana 5 times stronger? Chen Daoxian muttered. According to his calculations, the limit state mana of the Zifu period should be around 100. In other words, he is now about half away from the limit state mana of the Zifu period. This has something to do with his cultivation being on the first floor of the Purple Mansion, and it has something to do with his, not high, sword intent realm. That's right, Chen Daoxuan's current sword intent realm is not high among the cultivators of Tianjiao Zifu. For example, Zhou Mubai, who is 9th in the Zifu Tianjiao list, has already reached the 3rd level of sword intent, but Zhou Mubai can become the 9th in the Zifu Tianjiao list, not relying on the sword intent of the 3rd level. But he clearly understood his own swordsmanship and created his own swordsmanship. In this regard, Chen Daoxian is not comparable to the other party. Of course, Chen Daoxian also had advantages that Zhou Mubai couldn't compare, such as the divine light of the soul and the 3 heads and 6 arms he mastered, as well as his melee combat skills. Therefore, now he is stronger or weaker, and he really has to fight to know. My current basic strength of qi refining is 50, and the 6 layers of flesh and blood derivatives plus the magical powers of the Dharma are only 6 at most. Together, the basic strength is only 56, which is very far from the cultivator of the Tianjiao ranking Zifu. Chen Daoxian believed that the cultivators on the Zifu Tianjiao ranking, combined with the strength of qi refining and body refining, must have more than 100 basic strengths, but I don't know how many. Of course, although their combined basic strength exceeds 100, Chen Daoxian believes that more Tianjiao Zifu are not necessarily good at melee combat. In this way, many Tianjiao Zifu can only exert their basic strength within 100. But in any case, it will definitely not be lower than Chen Daoxian. The Siyu sword intent of the 3rd level of sword intent and the magic weapon can be increased by 5 to 6 times in combination. If the space sword intent of the 2nd level of sword intent plus the magic weapon, it can be increased by at least 8 times. At this moment, Chen Daoxian had to sigh, even if the space sword intent had only reached the second level, in terms of the increase in basic strength, it had already surpassed the Siyu sword intent. If you add the three-headed six-armed supernatural powers six-armed strike skill, Psi. After such a calculation, Chen Daoxian was taken aback by himself. It's not really that fierce, is it? Thinking of this, Chen Daoxian immediately displayed the complete three-headed and six-armed Dharma image. A giant with 3 heads and 6 arms, holding 6 immortal swords, appeared in the valley with a height of 12 feet. Immediately, he pinched the magic art, and the meteorite ink wall also became larger, about the same level as Chen Daoxian's chest. Looking at the falling ink wall in front of him, Chen Daoxian took a deep breath. Please remember this book's first domain name. _WAP. Chapter 259. Boom! In the valley of Xiaodangshan, a giant with a height of 12 feet slammed a fist into a dark barrier. The halo on the meteorite ink wall flickered wildly. Immediately afterwards, a numerical value appeared in the center of the meteorite ink wall. Sure enough, it's 56. Seeing the value displayed on the ink wall, Chen Daoxian nodded with satisfaction. The basic strength of qi refining and body refining is exactly the same as what he estimated. Next, it's the sword intent bonus. Boom! A sound far stronger than before echoed in the valley. On the ink wall, a new value appeared. Why only 425? Seeing the value on the ink wall, Chen Daoxian frowned. Originally, he thought that the space sword intent and the third-order middle-grade Benming immortal sword could at least increase his basic strength by 8 times. Now it seems that there is number 8 times, only about 7. 6 times. Is it because the bonus of the second-level space sword intent has become lower, or is it? He glanced at the Fei Shui sword in his hand. It's still my destiny. Fei Jian's rank is too low. Thinking of this, he simply retracted the flying snow sword, used his arm as a sword, and used the space sword intent to bombard the ink wall. 392. A new value appears on the meteorite wall. There is no problem with the 6-fold bonus of the second-level space sword intent. In this way, it is indeed the improvement of the cultivation base, which causes the rank of the flying sword to keep up with the cultivation base. Chen Daoxian analyzed. Normally, Tier 3 flying swords are the mainstream flying swords used by monks in Zifu. But for Tianjiao Zifu, the rank of the third-order flying sword is slightly lower. Because the basic mana of these Tianjiao Zifu is usually far more than the ordinary late-stage cultivator of Zifu, and what's more, it is even comparable to the mana of Jin Dan Jinren. So come on. Ordinary Tier 3 flying swords are naturally not enough to look at. Chen Daoxian is the same. I didn't expect that Fei Jian was actually dragging me down. Chen Daoxian shook his head. For monks, the magic weapon is not an appointment with a higher rank. For example, a cultivator in the Foundation establishment period, even if he was given a 4th-order flying sword, it would be difficult for him to exert the power of this flying sword. For a cultivator, the most important thing is that the grade of the magic weapon is compatible with his cultivation. As for the current Chen Daoxian, the 6 flying swords in his hand couldn't keep up with Shiwei. Thinking of this, Chen Daoxian felt quite helpless. You must know that apart from Fei Shui and Cheng Ying, the other 4 flying swords were bought from Henry Zhang before he came to the real demon world. He hadn't even used it once. Now I actually told him that the third-order Fei Jin couldn't keep up with his cultivation. Chen Daoxian shook his head. Forget it, fortunately they are not useless at all. Although the third-order flying sword can't achieve the ideal double bonus, it can still exert 0.6 times the power bonus, which has little impact on the strength. The attack strength of 425, if you use a 6-arm attack. Chen Daoxian's heart suddenly surged with pride. Even if it's Zhou Mubai, even if he understands his own swordsmanship and creates his own swordsmanship, he won't be as powerful as the 6-armed strike in the valley. The 12-foot-tall giant walked with strange steps, and his body turned into a mass of light and shadow. Next moment, 6 dazzling sword lights merged into one, bombarding the meteorite wall. Boom. The cave in the small tower trembled faintly. On the ink wall, the flickering halo turned into a white curtain. A long time. A brand new value appeared on the meteorite wall. 2550. Really? Seeing this value, Chen Daoxian was overjoyed. Compared with the six-armed attack in the Foundation establishment period, which could only exert less than 400 attack power, now Chen Daoxian's ultimate attack is at least 6 times stronger than before. Then add the changes brought about by the enhancement of consciousness. After breaking through to the Zifu period, Chen Daoxian's comprehensive strength was 10 times stronger than that of the Foundation establishment period. Not to mention the more important life essence for monks. Compared with the lifespan of only 200 years in the Foundation building period, the lifespan of a cultivator in the Zifu period is as long as 500 years. Of course. For Chen Daoxian, the issue of Shouyuan is not a problem at all. He has practiced so far, adding up to less than 50 years. Even less than 1/10 of the lifespan of the Zifu period. From this point of view, he is simply a monster. However, Chen Daoxian knew in his heart that it was not his evildoer. But he caught up with the good time, not only was fortunate to be able to enter the source realm left by the true immortal level world demon, but he was also fortunate to obtain a large amount of vitality essence. This made his cultivation progress by leaps and bounds. Otherwise, with Chen Daoxian's talent and resources, under normal circumstances, it would take decades to break through to the Purple Palace period. After testing the strength after the breakthrough, Chen Daoxian withdrew his 3 heads and 6 arms with satisfaction and returned to his normal shape. The meteorite ink wall, which was nearly 10 feet high, was also reduced to its original appearance. Chen Daoxian took back the meteorite ink wall, and his consciousness swept out of the small tower. Oasis in front of the lake. Qi Tong sat cross-legged, still pretending to break through. In fact, Qi Tong had already broken through to become the great demon of the Purple Mansion, just to wait for him, pretending that he had not yet succeeded in breaking through. Looking at its appearance, Chen Daoxian felt that this spiritual pet was well worth it. Although that soul seal secret method is domineering and unparalleled, according to the records of this secret method, using that soul seal to conquer spiritual pets is not without restrictions. Otherwise, the Imperial Beast sect relied on the infinite subduing of monsters, and the world of immortal cultivation would have been unified long ago. Although the secret method of soul seal is for spiritual pets, it also needs to bear a certain amount of pressure for the owner of the spiritual pet. This kind of pressure comes from the fetters of the soul imprint. The stronger the spiritual pet is, the greater the pressure of the soul will be fed back through the fetters of the soul imprint. This means that the master's strength must not be much lower than the spiritual pet's strength, otherwise once the master can't bear the pressure of the soul imprint on the soul, he may be freed from by the spiritual pet. Until then, the scene can be wonderful. For this, Chen Daoxian was not worried. No matter how much pressure the soul imprint puts on his soul, Qi Tong can't get out of his control, because in his sea of consciousness, there is something called golden scriptures guarding it. As Chen Daoxian's cultivation became more advanced, he knew that the golden scriptures guarded not only his sea of consciousness, but also his most important soul. If you want to overwhelm Chen Daoxian's soul with the pressure of the soul seal feedback, even if the current Qi Tong suddenly breaks through to the true immortal level, I am afraid it will not be able to do it. Red Pupil. Looking at Qi Tong, Chen Daoxian, who was sitting beside the freshwater lake and pretending to break through, called out, "Owner." Hearing Chen Daoxian's call, Qi Tong immediately opened his eyes, stood up and said in surprise. With the influence of the soul seal for a long time, Qi Tong has long forgotten his hatred for Chen Daoxian, and sincerely regards the other party as his master. Now, start hunting with all your might. Yes, master. Qi Tong's excited voice trembled slightly. Originally, Qi Tong's strength was comparable to that of the ordinary Zifu Great Demon, but now that he has broken through to the cultivation base of the Zifu Great Demon, Qi Tong's strength has suddenly skyrocketed. Although it can't compare to the existence of the Demon King, it is absolutely no different than those elite Purple Mansion monsters who entered the real fairyland together. Not to mention that behind Qi Tong, there is a more terrifying Chen Daoxian standing. In the realm of the real fairy source world, the combination of Qi Tong and Chen Daoxian is absolutely invincible. Even if the Lion Camel Demon Nation and the Great Yuan Demon Nation gathered thousands of base building level demons, their combination could easily tear each other apart. The strength gap is so large that it is almost impossible to make up for it with numbers. Not to mention that Chen Daoxian was known to be good at group attacks. Now that he has broken through to the Zifu period, his strength has skyrocketed to kill these foundation-level world monsters, which is really easier than chopping melons and vegetables. For the current Chen Daoxian, the only people who can threaten him one-on-one are the two demon kings, Qinghe and Blood Prison, who have entered the true immortal origin realm together, and Fairy Qiao, a direct disciple of Chen Yuan's sword sect. As for Zhou Mubai, who is a bit inferior to the Tianjiao Purple Mansion, Chen Daoxian is not wrong at all. Compared with him, Chen Daoxian's existence is stronger or weaker. Of course, this is only a one-on-one situation. With the current strength of Chen Daoxian, one-on-one will definitely be able to easily kill the ordinary Tianjiao Zifu. But when the number of Tianjiao Zifu increases, the situation is different. Not to mention Chen Daoxian, even if it is the existence of the Demon King, once it is besieged by dozens of Tianjiao Zifu, it is estimated that it will be more fortunate and less fortunate. In the realm of the real immortal realm, not to mention the power of the human cultivators, the big monsters of the Zifu sent by the four major demon kingdoms are almost all world monsters close to the level of Tianjiao Zifu. So count down. In the human world, there are at least thousands of strong people who are close to Tianjiao Zifu. Chen Daoxian did not dare to be arrogant. But in the boundary of the land, it is now basically certain that he has the final say. On the oasis, a group of more than 100 fox demons left the oasis and swept away in a mighty manner. More than a month later, true immortal origin realm Earth boundary realm. In a camp in an unknown large oasis. Judging from the construction style of this camp, it was built by the Wangxinghai Cangzhou monks. Obviously, over time, the cultivators of the various forces in Wanxinghai all gathered together. The same is true of the foundation-building monks in Cangzhou. In the sky above the camp, one after another escaping light passed by and landed in the camp. Before they could stand firm, a figure rushed towards them. "Senior Zhang, how is the situation? Have you found the young patriarch of my family?" The person who spoke was handsome, about 16 or 17 years old, wearing a blue Taoist robe, carrying a third-order immortal sword, and his slightly immature face was full of anxiety. It is Chen Fusheng, a monk of the Chen Jiafu generation from Shuanghu Island. Hearing Chen Fusheng's question, the leading monk named Henry Zhang shook his head and sighed, "Sorry, we didn't find any trace of fellow Taoist Chen this time." Hear this. Chen Fusheng was unable to let go of the hand holding the other party's sleeve, his pupils lost his mind for a while, and muttered, "Why is this happening? It's been more than a month." "Fusheng, don't worry," Henry Zhang, who was dressed in white, comforted, "Dao Yu Chen's strength far exceeds that of ordinary base-building cultivators, and he can even compete with ordinary cultivators of Zifu. Even if he encounters danger, with his strength, he will definitely be able to escape." Hearing this comfort, Chen Fusheng calmed down a little. He has always wanted to go out to practice, but when he actually went out to practice this time, Chen Fusheng realized that in many cases, it is not because you are stronger than a cultivator of the same rank that you can do whatever you want. It has just entered the real fairy source world for 10 days. Before gathering with the Cangzhou cultivator, Chen Fusheng hunted and killed dozens of world monsters alone, which was very impressive. But over time, Chen Fusheng found that not only the power of the demons he encountered was getting stronger, but the number of opponents was also increasing. Every time the world monsters encountered are no longer one or two, but groups. Only then did he realize that there was no way out of fighting alone, and he had to find an organization. As Cangzhou cultivators, before they entered the true immortal origin realm, they had a common special contact method. It's just that Chen Fusheng has been useless. After finding the home base of the Cangzhou cultivator, Chen Fusheng had a helper and once again showed his strength as a foundation-building swordsman. With each battle, Chen Fusheng became famous among the Zhangzhou monks. But gradually, Chen Fusheng discovered that Chen Daoxian had not come to the camp established by the monks in Zhangzhou. According to the camp monks, the Zhangzhou cultivators who haven't come to this camp so far are probably already out of luck. Regarding Chen Daoxian's unexpected encounter, Chen Fusheng didn't believe anything he said. Although he didn't know how strong the current young patriarch was, he was at least much stronger than him. Even he can fight a path in the World Demon Group and find the Zhangzhou camp, there is no reason why Chen Daoxian can't do it. At the beginning, Chen Fusheng still believed that Chen Daoxian was fine, but as time passed, he gradually became less confident. Every time, I would ask the monks who returned to the camp to find out the whereabouts of Chen Daoxian. Since the last battle of the Zhangzhou corpse tide, Chen Daoxian had a great reputation among the Zhangzhou cultivators. Few monks do not know Chen Daoxian's name. But this time, in the face of Chen Fusheng's question, all the monks shook their heads, and none of the monks had seen Chen Daoxian. This time, Chen Fusheng was completely panicked. In terms of strength, in the Zhangzhou camp in front of him, Chen Fusheng is definitely the leader. But in the final analysis, he was only a 16 or 17-year-old boy, and he had never experienced such a battle. Chen Fusheng couldn't help thinking, if Chen Daoxian really encountered an accident, what would happen to the Chen family? Every time I think about it, Chen Fusheng felt shivering. The current Chen family is inseparable from Chen Daoxian. In Zhangzhou, the immortal clans such as the Zhou family and the Zhang family are not so much to give face to the Chen family as to give face to Chen Daoxian. If the Chen family loses Chen Daoxian, a Chen family that has not yet grown up is a piece of fat placed in front of all the major forces, and will be met with countless flies. This point, although Chen Fusheng is young, but still can see thoroughly. Seeing that Chen Fusheng was a little distracted, Henry Zhang said, "Fusheng, I'm afraid we can't continue to stay in the Zhangzhou camp now." "Senior Zhang, why is this?" Hearing this, Chen Fusheng was shocked and asked quickly. "Today we went out for inspection and found the Fox Demon Scouts of the Qingqiu Demon Nation, which proves that there is a large army of the Qingqiu Demon Nation near our camp." Speaking of the Fox Demon in Qingqiu Demon Country, Henry Zhang's heart tensed suddenly. He never imagined that the biggest enemy that the human cultivators encountered was not the Lion and Camel Demon Nation, nor the Great Yuan Demon Nation, but the Qingqiu Demon Nation, which ranked third in strength among the 4 Demon Nation. What? Hearing this, Chen Fusheng was also taken aback. Please remember this book's first domain name. _WAP. Chapter 260. During this period of time, the prestige of the Qingqiu Demon Nation was known to everyone in the realm. The reason for this is because a remarkable powerhouse was born among the base-building world demons of the Qingqiu Demon Nation. Chen Fusheng looked at Henry Zhang and couldn't help but ask, "Senior Zhang, is this red-eyed monster of the Qingqiu Demon Country really as terrifying as the legends say? Could it be that your strength, Senior, can't be matched?" Hear this. Henry Zhang shook his head bitterly, and immediately said solemnly, "This red-eyed monster is even more terrifying than the rumored one." He paused. "Although I have broken through to the Zifu period with the help of the essence of vitality, the fox demons of the Qingqiu Demon Nation were the first to gather their clansmen, occupying a huge amount of power in the land boundary. Advantage. I heard that this big red-eyed demon had already killed and devoured the demons from the Lion and Camel Demon Nation and the Great Yuan Demon Nation more than a month ago, breaking through to the cultivation realm of a big demon. Now that more than a month has passed, what state do you think it has reached?" Hearing this, Chen Fusheng took a deep breath. "So, this big red-eyed monster from the Qingqiu Demon Kingdom is too terrifying." "Yes," Henry Zhang nodded, "the world monsters of the same rank are stronger than my human cultivators, even the world monsters who have just broken through to the great monster cultivation realm can be comparable to the late cultivators of my human race Zifu. The slightly stronger Zifu-level world demons are stronger than the late-stage cultivators of our human race Zifu. Although I am a sword cultivator, it was only by breaking through the Purple Mansion that I was lucky enough to reach the realm of the two-layered form of Kendo. Speaking of which, I am afraid that it is not as good as your Kendo realm." Hearing Henry Zhang's modest words, Chen Fusheng waved his hands again and again. Henry Zhang continued, and after this month's continuous devouring of the red-eyed demon, I am afraid its cultivation level is not far behind, even if it is not as good as the Demon King. Demon King? Chen Fusheng was so frightened. So, isn't the strength of this red-eyed monster stronger than that of Senior Zhou Mubai? Since Yi Wudao was suppressed in the Chenyuan sword sect, Zhou Mubai, who was ranked 9th in the Zifu Tianjiao list, has become the #1 powerhouse in Cangzhou. When Chen Fusheng heard that the strength of the red-eyed demon might be stronger than Zhou Mubai, how could he calm down? Henry Zhang shook his head. This is just my guess, although we are both Zifu Xiuwei, but the gap between Zifu and Zifu is really too big. I don't dare to speculate on whether the big monster with red eyes has Zhou Deyuking or not. However, I have seen the world demons from the Lion and Camel Demon Kingdom and the Great Yuan Demon Kingdom privately call the Chi-eyed Demon King the Half-Step Demon King. Half-Step Demon King? Chen Fu murmured, is it only a thin line from the Demon King? Right. Henry Zhang said worriedly. A strong world demon means a weak human cultivator. In the true immortal origin realm, once the human race cultivators are weak, they will inevitably be eaten by the monsters. At that time, in this limited true immortal origin realm, everyone really won't even have a place to escape. This is where people feel the most stress. A long time. Henry Zhang, who was dressed in white, finally made up his mind, looked at everyone and said, friends, we must be completely united now. Hearing this, a cultivator in the early period of the Purple Mansion asked, Dao Yu Zhang said that the complete unity refers to collect everyone's vitality essence and distribute it uniformly, heard. Everyone's faces changed. The essence of vitality is not only related to the improvement of one's own cultivation, but also to the improvement of their family's strength after they enter the realm of the human world. Henry Zhang's proposal can be said to involve the core interests of everyone. Although everyone present was Cangzhou cultivator, the group of Cangzhou cultivators also had different clans. For example, the Zhou family cultivator has a large amount of vitality essence in his hands, and he definitely wants to use it for Zhou Mubai, the young patriarch of the Zhou family. Once Zhang Zhou Mubai obtains these essences of vitality, his strength will definitely reach a new level, and he may not even have the opportunity to hit the top 3 in the Zifu Tianjiao list. If the Zhou family cultivators were to hand over their vitality essence, they would definitely be reluctant. But Henry Zhang knew that everyone handing over their own essence of vitality and then distributing them uniformly to improve everyone's strength is the only way to take the initiative in the next battle with the monsters. If everyone still holds the essence of vitality in their hands and refuses to let go, Henry Zhang can guarantee that everyone will regret it in the end. This truth, everyone may not be clear. But it is impossible for anyone to make them give up the benefits they have obtained. Seeing that everyone was silent, Henry Zhang knew that no one agreed with his proposal. See, people do not speak. Chen Fusheng broke the deadlock. He smiled and said, fellow Taoists, seniors, and Senior Zhang are just suggestions. The most important thing for us now is to transfer the camp. Hear this. Everyone seemed to have collectively forgotten Henry Zhang's proposal, and offered suggestions for moving the camp. Since there is already a world demon activity in the Qingqiu demon nation, we really should change our camp. But, where? I think it's better to unite with the monks from other states. After all, my Cangzhou monk is the weakest among the 3 states. It's better to temporarily merge with the Taizhou and Jingzhou monks. Hearing this, the monks present felt a little embarrassed. It is true that Cangzhou cultivator is the weakest among the 3 states, but no one has ever done anything like this man so blatantly said. But now, they can't care about a little bit of face. If you can hug your thighs, hurry up and hug your thighs, otherwise it will be too late to regret when the monsters from the Qingqiu demon nation come over. Brother Wa's proposal is good, I agree. I agree too. I agree. After a brief silence, everyone agreed to the Wu family cultivator's proposal. Rather than handing over the essence of vitality, it is more practical to hold the thighs of the Taizhou and Jingzhou cultivators by uniformly distributing them to enhance the strength of the Cangzhou cultivators. Just when everyone applauded the proposal of the Wu family cultivator, Henry Zhang felt a little cold. Usually, the major families advocate that the Zhangzhou cultivators are as close as one family. When their own interests are really involved, the choices made by everyone will inevitably make Henry Zhang feel a little chilled. Henry Zhang looked at everyone who left after discussing everything, and was dazed. Senior Zhang. Henry Zhang turned his head, saw Chen Fusheng, and forced a smile. Aren't you going to go back and arrange the clan? Chen Fusheng said softly, Senior probably forgot, my Chen family is only me and the young patriarch. Hearing this, Henry Zhang patted his forehead and smiled bitterly, look at my memory. As he said that, he looked at the direction where everyone was leaving, and seemed to be asking Chen Fusheng, and seemed to be talking to himself, you said. If you were here, what would happen to fellow Daoist Chen? In Henry Zhang's heart, the most admired person, in addition to his young patriarch Henry Zhang, must be Chen Daoxian, who turned the tide in Zhangzhou Xianqing. As a base-building cultivator, Chen Daoxuan's brilliance in the Battle of Zhangzhou Xianqing not only covered the ordinary Zifu cultivator, but even the brilliance of Zhou Mubai, the Zifu Tianjiao list Tianjiao. This made countless foundation-building cultivators in Zhangzhou admire Chen Daoxian from the bottom of their hearts, including him Zhang Xianqing. Speak up. Henry Zhang liquidation is a late bloomer monk. Unlike the young patriarch, Henry Zhang, who realized the sword intent as soon as he stepped into the foundation, Henry Zhang realized the sword intent much later. He was the sword intent that he only realized shortly before entering the true immortal origin realm. Speaking of which, his kendo talent is far worse than that of Henry Zhang, Zhou Mubai and others. Not to mention compared to Chen Daoxian and Chen Fusheng, who had realized the sword intent during the qi refining period. But Henry Zhang was lucky. Not long after entering the true immortal origin realm, he obtained a large amount of vitality essence, and then, with the help of these vitality essence, he became the first cultivator in the Zhangzhou camp to break through to the Zifu period. In other words, the speed at which he broke through to the Zifu stage was even faster than that of Chen Daoxian. Just on the first day of entering the real fairyland, Henry Zhang broke through from the 9th floor of the foundation building to the first floor of Zifu with the help of the essence of vitality. After all, Henry Zhang is probably the first among the 5 major forces to break through and become the existence of the Purple House. But as the world monsters and the human race monks compete for the essence of vitality more and more fiercely, the speed of Henry Zhang's cultivation has gradually slowed down, and it took him more than a month to break through from the 1st floor of the Purple Mansion to the 3rd floor of the Purple Mansion. It's not that he can't be promoted to a higher cultivation level. In fact, Henry Zhang still has a lot of vitality essence in his hands, but these vitality essences were prepared by him for the young patriarch Henry Zhang. Compared to the essence of vitality, the Tao Law is the most precious thing in the true immortal origin realm. This point, Henry Zhang is very clear in his heart. But even so, he is still willing to take the initiative to contribute these essences of vitality, so that the best among the Zhangzhou cultivators can improve their cultivation and strengthen their strength, so as to prevent the Qingqiu Yaogua from attacking their Zhangzhou cultivators. However, his proposal was rejected by everyone. Everyone would rather join the Taizhou and Jingzhou monk camps than take out the essence of vitality in their hands. This undoubtedly made Henry Zhang very chilling. Young Patriarch. Hearing Henry Zhang mentioning Chen Daoxian, Chen Fusheng suddenly felt heavy. Now that Chen Daoxuan's life and death are uncertain, how can Chen Fusheng get it easily? Henry Zhang didn't seem to notice Chen Fusheng's change, and continued, originally, I planned to let Zhangzhou cultivators concentrate the essence of vitality, so that you and other talented foundation-building cultivators can be promoted to the Zifu period to enhance our strength. But Henry Zhang shook his head, I made things simple. Chen Fusheng sighed, among all the monks who have come to the real world, Zhangzhou is said to have the smallest number of monks among the 3 states, but there are at least 1,000 people, so many monks, how difficult it is to twist them into a rope. Yes. Henry Zhang sighed, forget it, don't want this, since everyone thinks it is the best choice to seek the shelter of monks in Taizhou and Jingzhou, then let them go. Chen Fuxing nodded. It is about thousands of miles away from the Zhangzhou camp. In a larger oasis. Simple buildings that cannot be seen at a glance are densely displayed on this oasis. This is the base camp of the Qingqiu demon nation in the land boundary. In the center of these humble buildings, a luxurious mansion is located here. This mansion is the handsome tent of the leader of the Qingqiu demon nation Qi Tong. In handsome account. A fox-faced monster with a height of about 10 feet and a muscular body, sitting on a high position with awe-inspiring momentum. Below, 2 Zifu-level fox demons are reporting their spying information to it. After listening to the report, the big demon with red eyes waved his hand. Okay, you all go down. Yes, sir. The 2 fox demons, who are also the big demons of Zifu, are not surprised by Qi Tong's attitude. This time, Qi Tong used his strength to completely conquer all the fox demon clansmen in the Qingqiu demon country. Seeing the scout leaving, Jiu Gu, who had been standing beside Qi Tong without speaking, wondered, Master Chief, since this group of human cultivators has moved the camp, why don't we go to the space portal of the land boundary and the human world domain? Hearing this, Qi Tong pretended to ponder. Seeing Qi Tong thinking, Jiu Gu did not dare to interrupt. During this time, Qi Tong established absolute prestige among the demons. Jiu Gu believed that even if they reached the human realm, those big demons of the Purple Palace would not even want to command these clansmen. The prestige of the leader of the Red Pupil among the clansmen was established in the victories of the war against the Lion and Camel Demon Nation and the Dayuan Demon Nation. In particular, the invincible strength of the leader of the Red Pupil, which can be called the invincible strength of the big monsters in the Zifu, made Jiu Gu even more convinced. At the beginning, the leader of Qi Tong encountered the strong men of the 2 demon kingdoms and had to fight. At the back, the leader of Qi Tong faced the powerhouses of the 2 big demon kingdoms, and it was an instant kill, without any fuss. Gradually, in the mouths of the Lion Camel Demon Country and the Great Yuan Demon Country Boundary Demon, the name of the red-eyed leader Banba Demon King was called out. The reason is the half-step Demon King. It is because the world demons of the 2 demon kingdoms think that the leader of Qi Tong is not as good as the Demon King of Blood Prison and Demon King Qinghe. But the clansmen of Qingqiu Demon Nation do not think so. They feel that the strength of the leader of Qi Tong is absolutely invincible in the same rank. In fact, Akatsuki knew it in his heart. Although he devoured countless world demons in the past month, but in terms of real strength, he is probably not the opponent of the Demon King. It can achieve no enemy of unity in the realm of the land, because of the help of its owner Chen Daoxian. After breaking through to the Zifu period, the range of Chen Daoxuan's Sea of Consciousness increased greatly, and then, the Sea of Divine Light in the Sea of Consciousness skyrocketed. After a month of penance and adaptation, Chen Daoxuan's Sea of Consciousness was completely fixed in a radius of 500 miles. The range of his divine consciousness, which can reach thousands of miles compared to the real person of Jindan, is only half as small. Akatsuki seemed to be thinking. In fact, he communicated with Chen Daoxian through the soul imprint. Master, the human camp you asked me to find has been withdrawn. Ran? Chen Daoxian, who was sitting cross-legged in the thatched hut, said in surprise. Immediately, he understood why the other party ran away. No accident, he should have been frightened by the fox demon army led by Qi Tong. Nonsense. During this time, who wouldn't be afraid to see the fox demon in the Qingqiu demon country? Not to mention that Zhangzhou cultivators, even the human cultivators in the realm of the earth together are not enough for the fox demons of the Qingqiu demon country to squeeze with one hand. At present, after more than a month of hard work, the number of fox demons in the Qingqiu demon nation has probably gathered to a scale of nearly 6,000. Quantity is not the most critical. The most terrifying thing is the quality of these demons. With the slaughter and devotion of the Lion and Camel Demon Country and the Great Yuan Demon Country by the Qingqiu Demon Country, Qi Tong now has a total of 317 Zifu-level boundary demons. The remaining more than 5,000 world demons have all reached the foundation building limit, and they are only one step away from the Zifu level. This kind of strength, although it is not comparable to the various forces in the human world, is also a force that cannot be underestimated. Especially when Chen Daoxian was going to do another big vote before he left. Forget it, run away and run away. Chen Daoxian shook his head. Now, it's also time to launch a general attack on the Lion and Camel Demon Country and the Dayuan Demon Country. Initiate a general attack. Hearing this, Qi Tong suddenly became excited. Master, how do you plan to attack? Chapter 261, Land Boundary. A joint camp of monks from Taizhou and Jingzhou. In handsome account. More than a dozen cultivators of Zifu are discussing matters in the tent. Brother, now the battle between the Qingqiu Demon Nation and the Lion and Camel Demon Nation and the Dayuan Demon Nation is becoming more and more fierce, and there are at least dozens of battles every day in the vicinity of our camp. Fortunately, these world monsters have been slaughtered, and they all regard the Qingqiu Demon Nation as their mortal enemy, otherwise my fellow Taoists in Taizhou and Jingzhou would have suffered even more losses. In the camp, a 7th-floor cultivator of the Purple Mansion in spirit armor handed in to report. The world monsters in the Qingqiu Demon Country are really getting more and more rampant. The essence of vitality that my clan has worked so hard to collect has been snatched away by the other party recently. Now in this realm, I'm afraid no one can control the demons of the Qingqiu Demon Nation. A late Purple Mansion cultivator frowned. Hearing this, everyone felt annoyed in their hearts. The purpose of the Human Race Foundation Establishment Cultivator is to collect a large amount of vitality essence, so as to enhance the strength of himself and the cultivator of the human world realm. But as it stands now, it is becoming more and more difficult for the human monks to collect the essence of vitality. Not only that, but as the situation continues to deteriorate, it becomes more and more difficult for the human monks to even protect themselves. Of course. Now the monks in Taizhou and Jingzhou have another way to enhance the strength of the human monks, and that is to use all the vitality essence stored in their hands to enhance the strength of the monks in the two states. But this approach is undoubtedly difficult to adopt. In order to improve their own strength, the monks in the two states have already consumed a lot of vitality essence. According to the orders of their respective families, they need to bring more vitality essence to the Zifu monks in the human world. After all, the cultivators of the Purple Mansion in the human realm are the real elites of all races. It is also a cultivator of the Zifu. The cultivator of the Zifu in the human realm increases his strength by a much larger amount for each level of cultivation. In order to finally capture the Tao law of the true immortal origin realm, they all know what to do. See people talking. The leader of the 9-story sword cultivator of the Purple Mansion coughed and interrupted. Fellow Taoists, listen to the next words. Seeing Jiang Qinyuan speak, everyone closed their mouths. As a sword repairer, Jiang Qinyuan, like Jiang Chenai, is one of the Daozi of the Jiang family. After entering the true immortal origin realm, Jiang Qinyuan, with the help of many Jiang family cultivators, used a large amount of vitality essence, and abruptly raised his strength from the 9th floor of the foundation building to the 9th floor of the Zifu. It has fully improved the cultivation base of a great realm. This kind of improvement also catches up with the sky-defying chance of the true immortal origin realm, otherwise the monks of Wan Xinghai would not even dare to think about it. Of course, due to the sudden increase of too much cultivation, Jiang Shenyuan's kendo realm is inevitably a little behind his cultivation, not to mention compared with the Tianjiao Zifu cultivator on the Zifu Tianjiao list, many ordinary late Zifu cultivators are higher than his Dao realm. Although Jiang Shenyuan's cultivation base is high and his realm is a little vain, he can still exert the strength of the normal late period of Zifu. Moreover, with Jiang Shenyuan's kendo talent, he only needs to comprehend the Dao and improve the kendo realm before advancing to the Jindan stage. There is no need to spend time refining spiritual energy to improve his cultivation, and I don't know how much effort it has saved for him. In the realm of true immortals, there are too many monks like Jiang Qinyuan. It's just that Jiang Qinyuan is the one with the most exaggerated improvement in cultivation. Speaking of which, even Chen Daoxian didn't have an exaggerated improvement in his opponent's cultivation. After more than a month of refining the essence of vitality, Chen Daoxian's cultivation level has only been raised from the 1st floor of the Purple Mansion to the 6th floor of the Purple Mansion. It's not that Chen Daoxian can't continue to improve. But he felt that if he improved further, there would be a situation where his cultivation would exceed the realm of Kendo. For other Zifu cultivators, it is normal for their cultivation to exceed their realm. In the realm of immortality, if 100 cultivators of the Zifu are arbitrarily found, at least 99 realms cannot keep up with their cultivation. Before the cultivator reached the golden core stage, the cultivation base was basically improved faster than the Tao realm. Only after entering the golden core stage, the realm of the monk will slowly keep up with the cultivation level, or even surpass the cultivation level. It's not that Jindan period monks have any special magic power. But after the cultivator breaks through to the golden core stage, he will experience something called golden core thunder tribulation. In the process of transcending the calamity, most monks whose realm cannot keep up with their cultivation will fail to transcend the calamity. Only a cultivator of Zifu with superior strength who matches his realm and cultivation can be sure of the success of transcending the calamity. Therefore, Jindan is a huge hurdle on the path of monks' cultivation. Although cultivators did not gain much lifespan after breaking through the golden core stage, the failure rate of cultivators breaking through to the golden core stage was surprisingly high. This can be seen from the fact that in a huge Tsang/Zhou, except for Yi Wudao, no Jindan cultivator has been born for so many years. I saw everyone quiet down. Jiang Qinyuan nodded and said, everyone can see that, as the conflicts between the major demon nations become more and more intense, it is becoming more and more difficult for us to collect the essence of vitality. My suggestion is to take advantage of these demons. The country hasn't made a move yet, we might as well enter the human world as soon as possible. Hearing this, everyone looked at each other in dismay. But I have to say that Jiang Shenyuan's suggestion is very reasonable. Now the situation in the realm is becoming more and more unstable. Instead of taking risks and competing with the demons for the essence of vitality, it is better to withdraw to the realm of the human world as soon as possible to save the fruits of victory. I agree with Brother Jiang's proposal. After pondering for a long time, a cultivator headed by the Ji family said solemnly. The cultivator coalition in Taizhou and Jingzhou was originally headed by Jiang and Ji. Since the Jiang family and the Ji family agreed, there is no reason for the remaining families to disobey the master's order, so they all nodded in agreement. Seeing that everyone agreed with his opinion, Jiang Qinyuan smiled inadvertently and said, in that case, let's withdraw together. Okay, let's get out together. Everyone said in succession. The reason why Jiang Qinyuan chose to retreat was because he naturally had a small calculus in his heart. Among the monks in Taizhou and Jingzhou, the Jiang family monks collected the most vitality essence. Once the monks from the two states enter the realm of the human world, with the help of these essences of vitality, the cultivation of the monks in the Jiang family's purple house will also be improved to the greatest extent. Until then, the powerful Jiang family cultivator has a much higher voice in Qianyuan Jianzong than the Ji family. The right to speak in Qianyuan Jianzong is directly related to a series of arrangements for the subsequent competition for the Tao law. This principle is very simple, and the Ji family cultivator can definitely see it. But Jiang Qinyuan was right about one thing: the current situation does not allow them to stay in this world. Even if Jiang Qinyuan had a plan, it was just an upright conspiracy, and the Ji family had no choice but to retreat together. As for the Ji family cultivator staying alone to collect the essence of vitality, do not make jokes. Just when Jiang Qinyuan was slightly interested, an armored monk on the 9th floor of the foundation walked into the tent. Report. Hearing this, everyone turned their attention to the armored cultivator. Jiang Qinyuan waved his hand and said, "Tell me, what's the matter?" Tsangzhou cultivator came to join our coalition. Cultivator of Tsangzhou. Hearing the report of the cultivator of the affiliated family, Jiang Qinyuan frowned slightly. What are they doing here? Regarding the Tsangzhou cultivators, the cultivators from Tai and Jingzhou were somewhat disdainful of each other. The reason why they looked down on Tsangzhou cultivator was not only that the other party lost Zhenangguan back then, but there was another reason, that is, Tsangzhou cultivator's strength was too weak. As a big state on the same level as Taizhou and Jingzhou, Tsangzhou, not to mention the Yuanying family, not even the serious Jindan family. In particular, Yi Wudao was suppressed in front of the Yunshao Palace of Qianyuan Jianzong, and now Cangzhou does not even have a Jindan cultivator. The strength is so weak, how can people pay attention to it? Just as Jiang Qinyuan showed impatience and waved to drive the Cangzhou cultivator away, the Daozi of the Ji family stood up and said, "Brother Jiang, wait." Hearing this, Jiang Qinyuan paused. "Brother Yanxiang, what is your opinion?" "I don't dare to stand tall," Ji Yanxiang smiled, "though these Cangzhou cultivators are not strong enough, they are also my Wanxinghai cultivators in the end. If I drive them away like this, I'm afraid they will be criticized when they leave the true immortal origin realm in the future." Hearing this, Jiang Qinyuan frowned. Indeed, he was a little ill-considered. Ji Yanxiang smiled and said, "And for so long, these Cangzhou monks must have collected some essence of vitality." Hearing the essence of vitality, Jiang Shenyuan's eyes suddenly lit up. This is the point. The two smiled at each other and said nothing. Jiang Qinyuan turned his head, looked at the foundation building cultivator in spirit armor, and instructed, "Go and tell those Cangzhou cultivators that if you want to get the protection of my family, let them hand over half of the essence of vitality." After saying that, he waved to the other party. "Yes." After receiving the order, the armor-clad base-building cultivator bowed and immediately exited the tent. Outside the camp, a large group of Cangzhou cultivators gathered here, like refugees fleeing. At this time, one after another escaping light swept across the sky and fell in front of everyone. Seeing the headed monk in armor, Henry Zhang stepped forward in 3 or 2 steps and asked, "Friend, I don't know what the Jiang family and Ji family said." Hearing this, the armored base-building cultivator glanced at the other party and said arrogantly, "My master said, hand over half of the essence of vitality before entering the camp and get the protection of the Jiang family and Ji family." What? When everyone heard this, they jumped up. The Jiang family and the Ji family are too dark. This will take away half of our vitality essence. My Cangzhou cultivator joins you, doesn't it enhance your strength? Hearing the other party say Jiang Jiahe, the armor-clad base-building cultivator glared, but considering that the speaker was a cultivator of Zifu, he could only muffled, "If you are unwilling, please come back." After he finished speaking, he turned to leave, etc. At this time, a Zifu monk from the Zhou family stopped the other party. "We are willing to pay half of the essence of vitality to obtain the protection of the Jiang family and the Ji family." Henry Zhang heard the words, his face changed, "Fellow Taoist Zhou, you." But the Zhou family cultivator remained unmoved. Seeing this, the other cultivators looked at each other and said, "Forget it, I am also willing to hand over half of the essence of vitality." "That's all, I'll hand over half of it too." Chen Fusheng, who was standing in the crowd, was silent when he saw this scene. He walked silently to the crowd, bowed his hands to Henry Zhang, and said, "Senior Zhang, this junior asks you to resign." "Fusheng, you." Chen Fusheng grinned, "I won't go to Jiang's and Jis camp to join in the fun." Hearing this, the Cangzhou cultivators who were scrambling to hand over the essence of vitality for protection, all fell silent. Chen Fusheng glanced at the crowd, smiled, and then flew away without looking back. Henry Zhang looked at Chen Fusheng's disappearing figure, and looked at the clansmen behind him, and finally did not choose to leave with the other party. Chen Fusheng is alone and can be willful, but behind him, there are still a group of Zhangjiaji cultivators who need to be taken care of. Henry Zhang glanced at Chen Fusheng, who was far away, and said softly, "The cultivators of the Chen family are all outstanding people." Hearing this, the Cangzhou cultivator remained silent. The armor-clad foundation-building cultivator who came to report showed a sarcastic expression, and said, "A 9th-level foundation-building cultivator in the area, what a genius." After speaking, he looked at Henry Zhang, "Are you still going to pay?" Henry Zhang turned his head, raised his hand and shot out a sword chi, turned the opponent to the ground, and said coldly, "Although I have asked the Jiang family, it does not mean that any dog can bark in front of me." Touching Henry Zhang's murderous eyes, the armored monk who got up shuddered with fright, and immediately lowered his head in a chill, "Senior. Forgiveness." Henry Zhangqing had a livid face, threw a storage bag over, and said, dog thing, get out." After all, he took his clan and flew into the camp without looking back. At the spatial portal of the land boundary and the human boundary. In the sky, a large group of fox demons from the Qingqiu demon country walked in the air, and their mighty figures covered the entire sky. In all directions. After seeing the Qingqiu demon nation's army dispatched, the world demons or human cultivators of other demon countries were all frightened and fled from a distance. The forefront of the army. The big red-eyed demon took the lead, flying in front of the fox demons. While flying, it communicated with Chen Daoxian through the soul seal. "Master, the general attack you said is to go to the portal of the two realms and wait for each other?" Qi Tong was quite puzzled. "Right." Within the days of Xiaodong, Chen Daoxian sat cross-legged in the thatched hut and said with a smile, "I have calculated, during this time, the number of lion-camel demons and Dayuan demons that you killed by Qingqiu demon country alone reached 8,000. Multiple. In addition, the three major demon kingdoms were fighting each other and the human cultivators, and there were probably less than 6,000 world demons in the lion-camel demon kingdom and the great Yuan demon kingdom combined. 6,000 to 6,000, what do you think we are afraid of? Just block the road." He paused. There is only one space portal between the land boundary and the human world, and only the cultivator of the Zifu has the ability to unilaterally break from the land boundary. Let's go there and wait for the world monsters of the two big demon kingdoms, and the other side will not be able to fight us decisively. Hearing this explanation, the big demon with red eyes suddenly became emotional. During this period of time, although the fighting continued, it had never experienced such a scene of tens of thousands of demons fighting. No wonder the owner said he wanted to do a big vote. What about the extreme night demon nation and the human race monks? Just as I said before, let them pay the toll and let them pass. Hearing this, the red-eyed demon was slightly taken aback. What if they refuse to pay? After Chen Daoxian heard this, the corners of his mouth raised slightly, then stand in front of the space portal and shout loudly, "I will drive this road." Hearing Chen Daoxian's move, Qi Tong's expression became a little embarrassed. Chapter 262, Rumbling in front of the space crystal wall of the land boundary and the human world boundary. The spies of various forces stationed here were so frightened that they saw the Qingqiu demon and the boundary demon in the sky. The world demon of the Qingqiu demon country. It is the world demon of the Qingqiu demon country. At the place where the human monks were stationed, a foundation-building monk said to his companions in horror. "Quick, send a message to the coalition camp." "Yes, Lord Sergeant." The base-building cultivator who answered the question immediately took out a communication jade talisman and sent a communication to the combined forces of Tai and Jingzhou. Human race camp. Jiang Qinyuan received the message immediately. Putting down the communication jade talisman in his hand, Jiang Shenyuan's face turned ashen. He turned to look at the people in the tent, and said solemnly, "Friends, we are in trouble." "What?" After Ji Yanxiang heard Jiang Shenyuan's words, he was suddenly startled. Qingqiu demon country blocked the space portal between the two realms? Well, how dare they do this? Damn, the demons of the Qingqiu demon country are too arrogant. They do this, and they won't leave us any way to survive. Brother clan, let's fight them. Yes, fight with them. Everyone could no longer calm down when they heard that the demons of the Qingqiu demon nation had blocked the space portals of the earth and human realms. Everyone did not expect that before they could retreat, the demons of the Qingqiu demon nation would take a step forward and block everyone's back path. To know that space portal is the only passage from the land boundary to the human world. The demons of the Qingqiu demon nation did this, not only against the human race, but also against the other three demon kingdoms. Where did the world demons of the Qingqiu demon nation come from? Could it be because of their red-eyed demon king? Jiang Qinyuan narrowed his eyes slightly, and said decisively, since the other party doesn't give us a way to retreat, then we can only kill away. Although Jiang Qinyuan was reluctant to fight against the demons of the Qingqiu demon kingdom, he had no choice but to deliver the essence of vitality to the people of the human world. Otherwise, in the face of the mixed forces and the huge number of powerhouses in the human world, his Jiang family would not have any advantage in the competition for the law of the Great Tao. Brother Jiang is right. Ji Yanxiang nodded. Although there are more than 6,000 demons in Qingzhou, and they are the strongest in the realm, our combined forces from Tai and Jingzhou are not weak, and there are more than 5,000 monks. Coupled with the three major demon kingdoms, the Qingzhou demon kingdom is so arrogant that it will surely bring about its own destruction. Yes. Since the demons of the Qingzhou demon nation are courting death, then give them a ride. In the tent, everyone agreed. Having said that, everyone knows that there is a huge gap in strength between the combined forces of the Tai and Jing states and the Qingzhou demon nation. Regardless of the fact that there is not much difference in the number of personnel between the two parties, the Qingzhou demon country has only more than 6,000 head monsters, and there are more than 5,000 human cultivators, and the gap between the two sides is only about 1,000. But the strength gap between monks is not based on the number of people, but on the strength of high-level monks and the number of high-level monks. In terms of the number of Zifu-level combat power, the Qingzhou demon country completely exploded the combined forces of Thailand and Jingzhou. There are currently 317 Zifu-level demons in the Qingzhou demon kingdom, and the combined forces of Tai and Jingzhou have only 96 Zifu cultivators in total. Even if the Tsang/Zhou cultivators also joined in, the Zifu cultivators of the human race were able to break through the 100th place, more than 3 times worse than the Qingzhou demon nation. In addition to the number of high-level monks, the gap between the top powerhouses on both sides is even greater. The big red-eyed demon of the Qingzhou demon kingdom gradually spread the name of the half-step demon king following the battles with the lion-camel demon country and the Dayuan demon country. To know. There has always been only the wrong name, not the wrong name. Since this world demon named Qitong can be honored as the half-step demon king by the world demons of the major demon countries, his strength must be extremely terrifying. Jiang Qinyuan couldn't help but think of what their ancestors had told them before coming to the true immortal origin realm. In the true immortal origin realm, if you encounter 2 demon kings, Blood Prison and Qinghe, you must run as far as you can, and you must not fight recklessly. Because the strength of these 2 demon kings is by no means weaker than the strength of the middle stage cultivator of Jindan. And since the big red-eyed demon is respected as the half-step demon king by the world demons of the major demon countries, its strength is probably not below that of ordinary cultivators in the early stage of Jindan. Think of this. Jiang Qinyuan only felt a chill in his heart. Although he is now on the 9th floor of Zifu, it seems that he is only 1 step away from Jindan cultivator. But he knew in his heart that there was a world of difference between himself and the real Jindan cultivator. Not to mention the difference in the most basic mana and physical strength between the two, only the Dao realm of the Jindan cultivator is not comparable to Jiang Qinyuan. Jiang Qinyuan on the 9th floor of the Purple Mansion, his basic mana can only cause about 30 damage on the meteorite wall at most, and his Kendo realm has only reached the peak of the 2nd level of Sword Intent, and has not crossed the threshold of the 3rd level of Sword Intent. Even with the 3rd order high-grade magic weapon in his hand, the increase in combat power is only 5 times at most, which is 150 combat power. And what about Cultivator Jindan? In theory, even the most Jindan cultivator has a base mana of 100, but this is impossible. Because Jindan monks are no longer like low-level monks, they only have the most basic mana, and there is no means and ability to temper mana. Even the most common Jindan cultivator, their mana can easily reach 300 or even 500 after a period of quenching and precipitation. Moreover, since they were able to successfully survive the Golden Core Thunder Tribulation, their Dao realm had basically reached the triple realm. If it is a sword cultivator, it is the realm of the 3-layered star of Sword Intent, and it is the pinnacle of Sword Intent. Therefore, the combination of the magic tool and the Dao law will increase the strength of the Jindan cultivator by at least 7 or 8 times. That is to say, even a cultivator in the early stage of Jindan who has just broken through, his combat power is around 2100 to 4000. Compared with Jiang Shenyuan's 150 combat power, it is at least 10 times or even dozens of times stronger. If this kind of existence makes a full effort, with just one blow, the current Jiang Qinyuan can be instantly killed. This is also the current top 10 level of the Zifu Tianjiao list. Therefore, although the current Jiang Qinyuan screamed fiercely, he actually had no confidence in his heart. Without him, the strength gap between the two sides is too great. In addition to him, the strength gap between other Zifu monks and Zifu-level monsters is also huge. Even Jiang Qinyuan sometimes wondered if this red-eyed demon king was really as strong as rumored. If the other party can't do it alone, they will be able to wipe out all the high-level officials of the combined forces of Thailand and Jingzhou. Of course, he wouldn't say such a blow to morale. Now, Jiang Qinyuan only hoped that the demons from the Lion Camel Demon Country and the Dayuan Demon Country would give some strength and join forces to give the Qingqiu Demon Country some color. As for the Demon Kingdom of the Extreme Night, Jiang Qinyuan no longer had any hope for them. In his opinion, the strength of the Extreme Night Demon Nation is weaker than theirs. Thinking of this, Jiang Qinyuan couldn't help but glance at Ji Yanxiang, and found that the other party was the same as himself, and the sadness in his eyes lingered. At the same time, the camp of the Great Yuan Demon Kingdom. In the sky, dozens of figures flew towards the camp of the Great Yuan Demon Nation. Before the shadows approached, there were also more than a dozen figures in the camp of the Great Yuan Demon Nation. Hey Great Demon Sweki, you just want to bring these few people and want to come to the base camp of my Dayuan Demon Nation to spread wildly. Isn't it a bit too self-aware? In mid-air, the Great Yuan Demon and the Boundary Demon, headed by him, spoke up. Big Monster Majia, I'm not here to trouble you this time, the Sweki Great Demon with a lion-headed body sullenly said. Have you heard that from the Qingqiu Demon Nation have blocked the space portals between the Earth and human realms? Hear this. The big demon Majia spat out the snake letter in his mouth, and said coldly, the big demon Sweki, what do you want to do? Hearing this, the big demon Sweki raised a fist the size of a casserole and said, it's very simple, we both join forces. Okay. The great demon Moga nodded directly and agreed. Seeing that the big demon Majia promised so readily, Sweki couldn't help but be taken aback. The words of persuasion he prepared were useless. In the end, the big demon Sweki couldn't help but said, why? At present, among the various forces in the land boundary, the Qingqiu Demon Nation is the strongest, and now the other party has blocked the space portal, it is clear that they will not give us a way to survive. That being the case, if we continue to fight, isn't it courting death? Okay, when the big demon Sweki heard this explanation, he nodded, since you agree to join forces, let's meet the red-eyed demon king of the Qingqiu Demon Country for a while. Hey, that's what I meant. Demon King Majia said in a dark voice. At the spatial portal of the land boundary and the human boundary. More than 6,000 demon foxes from the Qingqiu Demon Nation set up camp right in front of the space portal, completely wrapping the entire space portal in their camp. An attitude of not giving anyone the past. In handsome account. After this period of continuous devouring of world demons, Qi Tong, whose cultivation base has reached the peak of the great demon level, is scratching his head and fidgeting. What's up? Within the days of Xiaodong, Chen Daoxian could not help frowning when he saw Qi Tong's appearance through his divine sense. Owner, hearing Chen Daoxian's voice, the big red-eyed demon suddenly had the backbone. According to the information from our scouts, the Lion Camel Demon Nation and the Dayuan Demon Nation formed a coalition and are flying towards our military camp. Isn't this a good thing? What are you panicking about? But the big demon with red eyes sighed, Master, your previous estimate of the strength of the two demon kingdoms is wrong. The Lion Camel Demon Kingdom and the Great Yuan Demon Kingdom are more than 6,000 world demons. According to the scouts' report, the two of them together, there are nearly 10,000 demons in total. So much? Chen Daoxian was slightly taken aback. Most of the world demons of the two demon kingdoms of emotion were killed by the fox demons of the Qingqiu Demon Kingdom. The human race monks and the major demon nations did not let them lose many world demons. How many human monks are there now? Chen Daoxian asked. There are more than 5,000 people. Hearing this number, Chen Daoxian couldn't help being silent. The human monks of the same rank are indeed much worse than the world monsters. At least before the Jin Dan cultivation base, the strength of the human monks is difficult to compare with the upper world monsters. You must know that the Qingqiu demon country has been looking for the lion camel demon country and the Dayuan demon country to fight against each other. Under the strict order of Qi Tong, the fox demons of the Qingqiu demon country have hardly killed the human monks. When encountering a human race cultivator, at most, they just away the essence of the other party's vitality. Even so, the human cultivator still lost nearly half. It is conceivable that if the Qingqiu demon nation also made an all-out effort to the human race monks, how miserable the situation of the human race monks would be now. Thinking of this, Chen Daoxian shook his head. Then, what about the demon kingdom of Extreme Night? The Extreme Night demon nation has the smallest number of demons, and there are still more than 3,000 demons. Hearing this, Chen Daoxian nodded. Among the 4 major demon kingdoms, the Extreme Night demon kingdom is the weakest, even if it is not much better than the human race monks. In addition, Qi Tong did not order the fox demons to keep their hands on the demons of the Extreme Night demon country. This led to the minimum number of world demons in the Extremely Night demon country. Chen Daoxian remembered that in a fight, Qi Tong even slaughtered the leader of the Extreme Night demon kingdom. Their current leader was re-elected later. Don't pay attention to the monks of the human race and the demons of the Extreme Night demon nation. If you only deal with the lion and camel demon nation and the great Yuan demon nation, how confident are you of winning? 50%. Qi Tong paused. Of course, with your help, Master, I'm 100% sure. He. During this time, as Qi Tong's cultivation became higher and higher, his strength became stronger and stronger. The number of times Chen Daoxian helped it is also getting less and less. Chen Daoxian will only take action unless he encounters the kind of hard bone that Qi Tong can't chew on. It's just that with Qi Tong's strength, there are only a handful of opportunities to encounter such a hard bone. Ordinary Zifu World Demon usually ends within 2 rounds in its hands. After all, Qi Tong's cultivation has reached the peak of the big demon level. In terms of cultivation, it is not much different from the Demon King of Blood Prison and Demon King of Qinghe in the human realm. Of course. In terms of real strength, Qi Tong is still far behind. Qi Tong's strength, in fact, is the same as the human race monks in the realm of the earth. Although the world monsters only need to expand the source world in their bodies, their cultivation will become stronger and stronger. But after reaching the Zifu level, the world demon gradually can no longer rely on blindly swallowing to expand the realm. Although the world demon reaches the great demon empress and continues to devour other living beings, it can still improve its cultivation, but it will never break through to become the demon king. If the big demon wants to become the demon king, he must fill the source realm in the body with the Tao law. Of course. Compared with the human race cultivator, the world demon is still very advantageous. In addition to being able to comprehend the Tao by themselves, they can also devour and refine the Tao laws left by other world monsters. And the human race cultivator can't do it, he must comprehend it by himself. Human race cultivators can only use some auxiliary means at most to help themselves understand the Tao. In general, the cultivation path of the world monsters is destined to be full of killings on the way of their cultivation. Either kill the enemy, or be killed by the enemy. Since this is the case, what are you afraid of? Let go and fight, everything is mine. Hearing Chen Daoxuan's words, Qi Tong immediately cheered up. What he was waiting for was Chen Daoxuan's words. Qi Tong knows that with the help of Chen Daoxian, it is a half-step demon king. Without the help of Chen Daoxian, it is really hard to say whether it can beat the 2 big demons Majia and Sweki. Especially the big demon of Sweki. It is said that this is the younger brother of the demon king of Blood Prison. This big demon can defeat the lion and camel demon kingdom in a dignified manner before breaking through to the big demon cultivation level. Even more perverted than the original red pupil. Although Qi Tong was called a big demon by the demons of the Extreme Night demon kingdom at the beginning, he himself had never defeated any big demon. To be able to cross the cultivation base to defeat the opponent, this kind of thing, only the most perverted world monster in the same rank can do it. This is the case with the Demon King of Blood Prison, and so is its younger brother, the Demon King Sweki. Just when Qi Tong was so excited, he was about to flatter Chen Daoxian. Chen Daoxian's expression became slightly solemn, and his powerful consciousness made him see a black cloud of demons from 500 miles away, flying towards the position of the space portal of the two realms. Interestingly, Chen Daoxian not only saw the alliance of the Lion and Camel Demon Country and the Demon Country of Dayuan. I also saw the allied army of cultivators of the human race and the demons of the extreme Night Demon Kingdom. Unexpected. These mortal enemies, who would usually be beaten to death when they met, actually did not shoot each other at this moment. Instead, it flew towards the position of the space portal with a tacit understanding. "They're here." Chen Daoxian said softly, "You're tuning into the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure."